Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 219 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast is coming at you live and direct with the entire 22 Shots collective up in the spot tonight. We got Jeremy Patrick, aka Double Shot J, Jeremy the Jew, also known as, well, you guessed it, the Jew, Dave, the grumpy bitter old man Parker, and I be your boy, the toxic offender, Moodz. Yeah. What's going on, homies? Yeah.
I laughed at the most popular comment about last week's show was that Dave lost his shit and he almost exploded. I think that was the best, the number one comment about the show last week.
I re-listened to the show and felt like a piece of shit. Like Moodz is just like at one point Moodz says,
Dave.
"Yeah, I like that movie," and then I yell at him for no reason, and I was just like, "Fuck, man, I sound like a fucking prick." I was so irritated.
My favorite thing about Dave is I love how Dave has like two separate personalities. He's got 22 Shots personality Dave, and then he's got his own channel Dave. You are so calm. You're so calm on your channel, and you're so well reserved, and you're just a nice dude on there. But then you like come into here and you're just like, well, I like this movie. Fuck you. You're a piece of shit.
No, it's two moods.
Different form.
That's what they've said about me forever. My friends, my Dustin, when we're making movies, he's like, there's two Dave. Energetic, happy Dave. And then when Dave gets tired, there's Sleepy Dave. Right. Sleepy Dave is a prick.
You know the irony is?
That's what I am on the show. Like half the time because we go on like 8 hours. And then before long, I'm just like, all right.
Yeah. I get it though too, man. Because those bigger shows.
Yeah, but that was in like hour one though.
I was tired.
No, well, because the intro was an hour. It was probably about 3 hours into that when we started talking about that movie. But the irony is like my nickname is Moodz, obviously. And that's actually how I got my nickname, was just being like two different people all the time when I was younger. Yeah, totally.
No, we ain't dissimilar.
I was always super happy, lots of energy and shit like that. But then when shit like went a little bit left on me, I would just lose my shit. Right? So, hence the
my
Moodz.
dad was like that too. Yeah. My dad was a fucking.
Well, I guess we just know that if Dave has a wife and kids, and the wife's still alive and the kids are dead, he's gonna kill the wife anyway. So
I ain't killing the wife. I'm getting killed. I'm dying. That dude's dying.
But the kids are already dead. You can't bring them back. Why would you kill your wife too?
I'm not killing her. I'm just so upset I don't know what's going on because I ain't no little bitch. I'm going head first, getting shot right in the face, and then I don't have to fucking face the world anymore because I'm already
and credits.
Next credit.
Right.
Dave does this thing where he gets all crazy. You could tell when Dave is getting heated up because he talks faster and faster as his
tone changes too. He gets into this like he's almost like he's pulled back away from the mic, and he's got his chest so far out, and he's just like I can picture him. You know, he gets his chest out here, and then he's like, and then his chest is literally touching the microphone. His chest is touching the microphone, and his head is behind his chair.
I do it all the
time. He gets anger, remorse. Like, he'll flip out and then feel bad about it later.
Right.
Did it at work. Like, fucking, I don't even want to go to the whole story, but I've literally fucking snapped and just started, like, kicking shit. And then or, like, freaked out on somebody, and they got pissed back because, you know, so we're yelling at each other. And then, like, 5 minutes later, I walk over, I was like, I'm sorry, I lost my mind. I'm sorry. I'm crazy. I'm like, all right, it's cool. I couldn't help it.
That happened to me and my boss one time.
Just lose your mind sometimes, man.
You get stressful situations, you lose your mind.
Situational anger,
it takes a while for me to get like super pissed, but when I do, it's like very bad.
I don't trust nobody without a temper.
Right, but you're in a good group of people to be like that because we don't give a fuck.
No.
Well, that's why it's 22 Shots, Dave, and it's a different forum.
No, I'm not Sleepy Dave. I'm good Dave.
You can say whatever you want here.
Come about 8:15, maybe Sleepy Dave will enter the picture.
Oh boy.
Oh man, we've been yelling at each other for 8 years, man. Nobody takes this shit to heart, man. It is what it is. You know, I mean,
it is true.
I mean, on podcasting, if we didn't have difference of opinions, if we'd mentioned this before, how boring would it be? But it like really gets entertaining when you get like really heated, and at the end of it, you're like, fuck it, man, whatever, man, I want to go for a beer.
If me and Moodz survived the it blurriness fight, we could survive everything.
Shut the fuck up.
It's true. That was the maddest Moodz ever got at me on the show. Is that fucking?
That might even be the most pissed off I've ever been on the show. Like, it takes me a lot to actually get going. Like, I will raise my voice and yell, but like, I'm not really mad, right? I think that was one of the very few times where I think I was legitimately getting fucking heatedly pissed off.
Jeremy can make you mad. I just don't know how to explain it. Like, you'll be in mid-sentence and he'll just say something like that's off, like topic, or he'll just fucking pick the right thing to piss you off and you're just like lose it. Like, go from like 0 to like 100 in like 2 seconds. I don't know.
Yeah, people used to give me shit and saying that I'm mean to him back in the day, but I was like, you have no, like, dude, just be around him and do a show with him and you will fucking understand, bro.
He has no slight jabs. He goes right for the throat every time he tries to make funny. He goes right for the fucking throat.
That's why I'm always come back so much harder, because I'm like, you're not like slowly.
Yeah, but you come back like not on the show. You just come back.
Like, my jab at JP was him disagree. Like, today I was like, we were all like, we hate snow, me, you, and Dave Z, and like Brandon. And then he was like, I'm surprised JP didn't fucking just automatically change his mind because he's a contrarian. Like a slight jab. It's nothing really offensive.
Yeah. It was funny. I laughed. But but I'll tell you one thing. From all these years of being with Jeremy, I don't really get mad at him like I used to.
That is true.
Like, we've mostly got along.
We've kind of grown up a little bit.
Well, you have.
It's been the little things, man.
We haven't fought in a long time. I think we fought once, but at the end of the day, I think since I got in therapy, I don't really take shit for. I try to look at it in both ways these days. I try not to pick shit. It's not worth it.
Yeah, it's like the little things with me, man. Like, you know, the days where I'd be trying to do an intro or something, and when I had the really long ones, and I could hear Jeremy in the background making noise, and he's just always interrupting, and I'm like, fuck, bro. Like, I put a little bit of effort into this, and you're just fucking my shit up, man. Like, that's actually what led to when most people consider to be the most annoying fucking 5 minutes and 22 shots history when I used the dick sample. But I was so mad after that intro that, like, I just had to do something about it, man. I was so pissed because he kept fucking with me. He kept interrupting, and I was really trying to, like, focus and do this shit properly. And then when I finally got it out, and then he said something that set me off, and I was like, fuck, you're just being a dick, dude. You're fucking being a dick.
That's what makes us great, though.
But it was so frustrating because it's that time where you just give me 30 seconds in the beginning of the show just to get it out, and, like, I couldn't get it out, man. I was like, fuck. I was so fucking mad.
That would annoy the shit out of me, too, because I hate when I'm, like, trying to, like, focus on something, and someone's, like, bugging me. It's the fucking worst.
Like, you have to think about it, like, what, next December is 10 years. Who the fuck would have thought we've been doing this shit for 10 years and 10 years ago? Not me.
Pretty fucking crazy.
10 years is a long goddamn time.
For a podcast, for sure.
We're still doing it.
I mean, bros, we gotta start thinking about episode 250. I know that's a little bit away.
No.
But it's only 30 episodes away, man. I mean, obviously we're not going to get to it. We're not going to get to it before our break, though.
I think 12 or 15 episodes last year.
Just do Friday the 13th.
Are we doing...
I wanted to do that for 200.
Are we doing the 94 top 10 show? Is it going to be the last show before the break? Is that what we're going to do? We're going to do it like in
I think May? We're doing it April, May. Yeah, probably May.
Because, I mean, this honestly, the prep for this is a lot shorter. I mean, for most of us. I mean, Dave's going to go completely batshit insane.
He already has.
But I'm already at 62.
I'm gonna watch 60 because I feel like that really is covering a lot of the bases. I know, without watching like the 400 Asian movies that are there, but
you're leaving a lot on the table, Moodz. How are you not gonna watch fucking Red Eyes or Relative Fear?
Okay, let me ask you something.
Let
me ask you something. So, out of all the like the obscure Asian films that you've watched so far, is there any legit chance that one or two of those might make your top 10 list? Given what some of the heavy hitters are in 94. I mean, I know your taste.
Yeah.
To a point.
And I know some of those going to make it for sure. And I think some other ones that are probably better than some of the stuff I like would make other people's lists. Like something like Angel Dust, I think is a good enough movie that you guys should watch.
Right.
A lot of people like it. Like I really like Love Minus Zero Equal Infinity. I don't know if people will like that. Mm-hmm. Underground Banker is exploitation fun. I think it's watching stuff like that. But
yeah, I got
after watching these movies, I just came to realize that I don't like Asian movies. I don't know.
You haven't watched?
There's so many different kinds of Asian movies, though.
Oh, dude,
like I'm watching these, going, man, I don't like Asian movies.
Well, you should watch some of the Japan movies, Japanese ones. I know these Evil Dead Trap movies are bonkers, but not every Japanese movie is completely bonkers like
the way they have sex in all these movies I've seen is like the most over the top, hilarious things.
The hamburger.
Yeah,
they just have sex in like funny ways in every Asian movie I watch.
I feel like this covers, like, there's so many different levels of Japanese cinema, and like this trilogy right here, which, you know, technically isn't actually a real trilogy. I mean, they're not even really related at all, you know. But
they're like in name only.
But they're all different movies, man. Like the first one, you know, is pretty bad shit. The second one is totally different, and the third one's like totally different too. So, but then we're not really getting some of that later Japanese cinema, like the Tetsuos and all that type of shit. Like, there's so many different levels of Japanese cinema, but this one does cover three different types of levels.
Japanese ghost stuff too.
Yeah, like
there's so many different.
Yeah, there's so many different levels, and I feel like this gives you three different looks at Japanese cinema for sure. You know, which is kind of interesting with the first film, what's going on in that one. But I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, Asian cinema is not for everybody, for sure. I guess. I mean,
it's an acquired taste.
I don't like to say that as a whole, though.
Music.
I don't like to say that as a whole because I feel like if you're watching, you know, films from Hong Kong, you know, and then you're watching films from Japan, and like there's so many
nothing alike.
They're nothing alike. So if you just say Asian cinema, you're just kind of lumping everything into one, which I think is kind of unfair. Completely
it's
unfair.
Super unfair because like South Korea has like their own flair, like there's their own style, their own subject matters, whereas like Japanese, I would say it has a wider range of different types of things that they've done.
They're a little bit more
probably
quirky.
A bigger history.
If you had to say Japanese cinema,
definitely more quirky,
you know, in a nutshell, just it's quirky. It's a little bit more quirky, and they do a lot more out of left field type shit. Where, you know, in, you know, the Hong Kong cinema and stuff, I mean, look at the Category 3 films. There's some batshit weirdness in there too, but it's just it's
over the top.
It's a little bit more
sleazy.
It's almost like sleazy, over the top, but like almost more serious toned type stuff. Even like with
comedy elements for no reason. There's always comedy for no reason.
Like Ebola Syndrome is a great example of a Category 3 film that's just, you know, I mean, the subject matter is like, it's laughable, but it's kind of serious at the same time. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I would actually say the Japanese movies are more serious in tone. The Hong Kong movies always start as a comedy, but then they have like, they always start as like comedic.
Well, they deal with serious issues,
but then they become really like dramas. They always end up as dramas at the very end.
Yeah,
like,
they always end up dealing with
you like sad.
Yeah, they always deal with like serious issues at one point. But they're goofy. But yeah, I mean, Japanese, I will say, man, it can definitely throw you for a loop mental wise, because some of their shit's pretty extremely odd. It gets you thinking. You're like, okay, does that make any fucking sense? Like, where's this going? Like, it can do that to you a little bit. So, but yeah, to lump everything into one category, I think is a little bit unfair. There's just so much, man. There's just so much out there. But yeah, you know, I mean, this trilogy is a great example of films that, you know, I could see maybe one being for some people, you know, and it could be either one of the three, right? You know,
well, it just depends if you like rape or not. Speaking of rape, how about those Buffalo Bills, Moodz?
You know, I felt like watching that game, the first drive, I was like, okay, I think we're setting the tone here pretty fucking strong. I didn't like, it's crazy to think that they were gonna fucking throw, you know, get 7 touchdowns and not even punt the ball kind of thing. But it was like a statement win, because I mean, if you're gonna beat a team down as bad as they beat the Pats, you got to beat the Pats like that, because it's been redemption for like the last 20 years kind of thing, right? So
yeah, for your dildos.
It feels good to not have the most embarrassing loss of the week. You know what I mean? Because like, I think that Pats loss was way worse than ours.
Cowboys too was a bad loss.
Yeah,
like, you
Cowboys
knew you were probably going to lose.
Yeah, everybody knew that the Chiefs were going to win that game, but
yeah,
the Cowboys really shit the bed. I mean, they're a joke. They're a fucking joke, man.
Dude, their time management in the end of that game was some of the worst I've ever seen in my life.
Who would run the ball with 14 seconds left with no timeout?
But if you're going to run the ball, you got to go to the sideline, dude.
Well, like, no, you can do it that way. You just have to, you can only go like 10 yards. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you time it right, 10 yards, it's been done so many times.
Yeah,
like,
just get the first down,
you
right?
Run 10 yards and then clock it, and you get one shot at the end zone from the 20-yard line, which is much better than the 30-yard line or whatever. But
right.
Honestly, most of the games were kind of boring.
Yeah.
I'm hoping tonight's game's a little bit
It was
better.
a trash weekend, besides the Cowboys game.
The Cowboys game got exciting. But they had so many penalties against like pre-snap penalties.
That's why it was funny.
It was like ridiculous. They should be ashamed of themselves, man.
Well, it depends where you're coming from, man. Me being a diehard Bills fan, that shit was exciting as hell because I would rather just see a one-sided win like that because I didn't want.
Well, of course,
I didn't want a close game because I can't handle my ticker can't handle that shit anymore, man.
Oh, I know.
I've been a Leafs fan forever.
I'm the same way.
Every game is like it's just literally I can't even watch the screen anymore because it's just so fucked up, right? And then so to see that type of one-sided win, I was like, you know what? So we're gonna go on most likely. I'm thinking to myself, we're gonna be playing the Chiefs most likely. It's not gonna be that game next week. Just put it that way. Oddly enough, both teams had huge blowouts, and what do we have? 7 touchdowns. They had. You guys had 6?
Six.
So 13 touchdowns between the two teams in one game? Holy shit, man.
Yeah, but I mean, this is going to be a good rematch of last year.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you have an extra playoff teams. You have boring-ass games. So, fuck that.
Yeah, I don't know, though. I don't think that's really affecting it that much because the 7 seed, yeah, I mean, both 7 seeds did bad, but...
Yeah, look at the fucking Eagles, dude. That game was shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but a 6 seed won.
Yeah.
Right.
But a 6 seed could win every year, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, though, man. It expands the season a little bit. It's more revenue. Yeah. It's better because the NFL season's short. It's really short as it is, man. You might as well just give us a little bit more. It's going to be weird having the Super Bowl, like, pretty much in the middle of February, though. That's odd.
Yeah.
It seems really late,
usually?
But...
January, right?
The first Sunday of February.
It usually falls at the end of January, just at the beginning of February kind of thing. But now it's like the 13th or 14th. It's crazy. It's like 2 weeks
I think
later.
It's the 12th, maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty...
12th or 13th.
Almost in the middle of the month, so...
But I think that all it's going to take is like 1 7 seed to give a huge upset, and everybody will be like, man, that was cool.
Right.
I hate it.
Yeah...
So, Moodz, you like Scream 5?
Don't spoil it.
I'm not going to say...
But did you like it?
I liked it. I mean, there was things... I thought there was some clever parts in it. The requel thing actually made me laugh.
It did. That's the best scene in Randy's house.
The only problem with that scene, though, is that it kind of tells you exactly what they're doing. Right? But... It was entertaining. I thought there were some clever parts. There's some decent... there was one really good kill that I was actually kind of shocked to see. I was like, whoa, that was crazy.
I thought all the kills were good.
But, I mean, it definitely... The movie felt like a Scream movie, which is a good thing. It held that appreciation for the Craven films and stuff, I thought. And, they were clever in what they were doing for the most part. I think there was one thing in the end of the movie I thought was really stupid. But other than that, though, it wasn't bad. It was definitely worth the watch. I mean, if you're a Scream fan, you're probably going to love the movie, right? So
there was a ton of Easter eggs in there. Like,
a
tons. Like Carly pointed one out that I didn't even notice, but in Scream 4, the one cop tells Gail her lemon squares suck.
Yeah, and
then on the fridge of her house. There was a note that said lemon squares in the fridge or something.
I didn't even catch that. I didn't even. I remember the note and stuff, but I didn't put I didn't put it together
because she's trying to win over Dewey in part 4, and then
right.
Gal walks in, and is like, "Your lemon squares suck."
Yeah. There's a lot of little, and Jeremy pointed out the one that I didn't even see, but when they're watching a YouTube video of Stab and shit. There's a little, they're watching it on YouTube, and in the recommended videos, it's like, Woodsboro survivor speaks out, and it's Kirby from part 4, Hayden Panettera's character. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's so cool, because she's like my favorite character in like the whole series.
Oh, I didn't even notice that one either.
Yeah, there's like
she's dead, so maybe she'll show up. Who knows?
Yeah, and there's like, I just think that the heart was in the right place for it, and it really felt like they cared about the franchise, which is a huge deal to people who are a big fan of the franchise. And it was just fun to see the gang back together. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I did have some issues with probably similar things that you did.
Yeah,
as well,
I just thought I don't want to say too much, but there was definitely one thing that was in the third act that I kind of like. And, me and Dylan talked about it after in the parking lot, and he's like, dude, I was thinking the exact same thing. And I'm like, yeah, that was kind of weird. But,
Did you see the Stab box set?
Yeah. Yeah.
It looked like a Scream Factory box set or something.
Right.
It was so funny. I love how they had like the like on the IMDb page, it had like Luke Wilson and stuff. Who?
Yeah. Well, they're even like who played the killer in the first Stab movie. So,
right.
Luke Wilson.
I'm gonna give that a 7. Thanks, guy. I don't have to watch it anymore, so I'm gonna give that a 7.
Dude, these are like
those little bits are the best parts of the movies for me.
You didn't even see Scream. You wouldn't even understand the bits. You've never seen Scream 4.
Guess what? When I watched Scream 4 right before this,
you'll forget about all this. You'll forget about all this, man. Scrolling through, you see David Schwimmer on there. It's funny.
And it's not my fault. You're fucking 10 years behind on Scream movies.
Well, it is. You talking about Scream 5, which has been out in theaters for like a week.
Not even 3 days.
Yeah, come on, man.
It made like
Friday.
What, almost 40 million, 35 million or something?
Well, they didn't get my fucking $10 yet.
35 million.
Yeah, these movies keep making money.
That is good.
They're definitely gonna be making more of these for sure.
I hope they do. I enjoy. Well, you guys know how I feel about the Scream films, but
yeah, you never liked them. You were always a bigger fan of Leprechaun,
especially Leprechaun 2.
Dude, I think I do like the Leprechaun franchise more than the Scream franchise.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm not even joking. Because I love Scream 2 and 3.
Postmaster P.
You know what I mean? Like, Scream 1 is one of my favorite movies, and I love Scream 4, and I really like Scream 5 as well. But 2 and 3, like, never really did it for me as much as, like, the other films. So.
Yeah,
I think
Scream 3 is pretty
one
shitty.
Good Leprechaun movie.
No,
like 2 good Leprechaun movies.
1, 2, 3. I also like...
No, 2 is not a good movie.
In the Hood, Back to the Hood, and Returns, all solid.
I like the new Leprechaun movie too, man.
The new Leprechaun movie
new
was
one's
good. 1, the new Leprechaun, and 3.
Yeah, 3 is good.
Yeah, 3 is fun, man. The setting of part 3, it makes so much sense. I love that they took it to Vegas, man. It's pretty cool.
They got to do it in the Old West, man, in the Gold Rush.
I said that right after I watched Leprechaun on the Hood. It's like, why isn't fucking Leprechaun fucking having like draws with people and shit? With gold?
Dude, right?
It writes itself. They're
right,
like,
exactly.
no, we're going back to the Hood.
Well, that was Warwick Davis's idea. Like, if you listen to the commentary on like In the Hood, like he always said that he thought the like Leprechaun in the Gold Rush era would be like a great one.
No, it's perfect. But guess what? They hate horses. That's a pain in the ass.
So it's not Brian Tenchard Smith's fault that he made the best one and then one of the worst ones right after. So if it was Warwick Davis's idea to take it to space, and he's just like, yeah, well, I guess we'll roll with that. We'll take it from one amazing setting to the worst fucking cliched setting for a part 4 ever. Hellraiser.
Hey, it wasn't cliched in '94, man.
Yeah, but it was already it had already been done in the 4th one, man, in the Hellraiser series, right? Wasn't that in space?
No. Leprechaun came out first.
How was the parody fucking series?
Did it really?
Most goofy series, the fucking first one to take it to space. Like, you think they'd parody the fucking shitty, the fucking shitty versions? You know what I mean? Like Hellraiser. Do you think it'd be a parody? I mean, I'm just kidding. I haven't watched a lot of those Leprechaun movies in forever, but rewatching part 2 for '94, not a fan.
Oh yeah,
dude, could you imagine the Leprechaun on a pony? Like for the Western one? Yeah, like he has like a little pony horse.
When did Hellraiser 4 come out? Was it 96? Was it one of the 96 movies?
No, 98.
Yeah, 96. It came out in 96.
Okay, so I was trying. Okay, that doesn't make sense.
I think it's 98. Yeah. Let's look. I don't know.
It's not 98.
No, I'm pretty sure
it's 96.
I'm pretty sure we watched it for the 96 review or the prep.
No, wait, it's 2002. Actually,
no, it's not. Hellraiser 4.
Yeah.
No way.
Is it? I don't know.
No, it's not. It's
a 1996 American. It's a 96.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I remember watching it now for the 96 show. Yeah, I just couldn't.
2002. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
We watched.
I was thinking when I watched it.
2 of them came out in 2000. Wasn't there 2 movies?
Yeah,
that came
Deader and the other one.
Yeah, man.
I saw fucking. Those movies suck. I saw fucking part 4 right when it came out. I was super excited. I was hyped.
They're terrible as Hellraiser sequels, but if you take the names off, it's like a lot of fucking franchise sequels, man.
That's like ordering a sandwich at a restaurant and then having to take everything off and then saying the sandwich is okay.
This is how I feel about.
That's not what I ordered.
This is how I feel about the new Paranormal Activity movie. I think it's dubbed Next of Kin. And I feel like, obviously this movie doesn't have any connection to the other franchise, and they're releasing it, under the Paranormal Activity name to sell it, obviously. But I mean, I feel like it's getting, I honestly don't know if it's being that hated on, but I feel like it would probably get a little bit more praise if it was just called Next to Kin, because the movie itself isn't that bad, I thought, man.
Yeah,
I thought it was pretty
but
good.
as a Paranormal Activity sequel, it literally makes no sense to the franchise. It's because
I wish they would have at least connected it a little bit.
I know.
Like just make a reference to the original series.
And that's what makes it so. It makes your fucking, scratch your head a little bit. You're like, okay, so the Paranormal Activity franchise is one of the only franchises that has like 6 movies that, has continuity straight through it. And then they make another one, and this one is just like out of left field. I'm like, why would they do this? But, I watched it, and I didn't really ask anyone's opinions, but I'm like, I kind of like this movie, man. It wasn't bad.
I liked it too.
That's a cool idea.
It was a fun found footage movie.
I like the ending.
Yeah, as a found footage movie called Next to Kin, drop the Paranormal Activity part, and you're like, okay, it's not that bad. It really is.
Good winter setting on that one too.
I kind of like the idea of it though. It was different, and I was never bored for a second, and I thought it was pretty cool. So
I don't know how the fuck I weaseled my way in getting to see Hellraiser 4 when it came out. I was only 10, and I had been watching those. I saw fucking Hellraiser when I was like 8.
I saw
somehow weaseled
like 5.
Yeah, I somehow weaseled my parents into letting me watch part fucking 4. I remember renting it, and like we were watching it with the Siamese twins and shit.
Yeah.
I was very disappointed in 4 when I rented it as a kid.
I've told this story before. I watched Hellraiser 3 actually in the cinema. It was like a when did it come out? Hellraiser 3 was 93? Yeah, it must have been 93. Yeah. And they were doing, it was here for like one night, for like a Midnight Madness showing.
That's about right.
I'm not even joking, dude. And like, I actually was able to go.
Because we're showing this in a theater. That's what they were talking about.
I was staying, I can't remember the actual details, but I might have been staying at one of my buddy's house, and then we ended up going, because I don't think my mom would ever let me, I don't know, I can't remember. But anyways, the point is we went and saw this at midnight.
92, actually.
92, yeah. And I was like, it's always one of those memories. I'm like, yeah, I got to see that in the cinema, and it was there for like one Midnight Madness showing, very typical small town Canada. But
your favorite Cenobite was the CD Cenobite, of course.
And I always loved that one because it was so different than the previous 2 entries.
Yeah,
right?
Hellraiser in color, dude. It's like he's in like bright colors, Pinhead.
Well, I mean, honestly, at age 12, you were 12 when you saw. I love that movie as a kid. I had seen the 2 one, and I had seen the other ones. So, and honestly, man, the first 2 movies really kind of shook me up a little bit because they were gory and they were just like they were kind of like freaky movies
dark,
to me.
Too. They're
gross. They're
very
gross
graphic and violent and sexual.
And then the third one comes out, and to me it felt like it was like Hellraiser in the real world slasher film. That's what it kind of felt like to me. It felt so different, but I always had this connection with it, and I always really kind of dug it and stuff. I don't think it's like overly the greatest movie or nothing, but it's a fun one. Good memories.
Yeah, it's a chance it makes your top 10 of 92.
It's gory, man. Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, you use a camera. Oh, you're going to be a camera Cenobite.
Yeah.
you like.
It's like we wrote it. It's like we wrote it. It's like fan fiction from Hellraiser. It's not even real Hellraiser shit.
Yeah, but back then at least it was still written as a Hellraiser movie. So.
Oh yeah, it's like somebody walked into art school and we're like, now make. You see these Cenobites? Now make your own Cenobite. And it's like a little kid draws a CD.
I'm going to have mine
like,
with CDs.
And then they just steal it from like 10-year-old art students.
That's the type of shit nowadays that gets your kids thrown into therapy if they start drawing Cenobites and shit, man. Back in the day, we're like, oh, this goofy little kid. Oh, just kind of throw it off to the side like
Puppet Masters.
Yeah.
I used to draw the puppets from Puppet Master on everything. They're like, draw a lunchbox. I'd be like, fucking tunneler in this lunchbox.
I used to draw the South Park characters and like Kenny dying in different ways.
Wow.
That's sick.
That's just disturbing, dude. Dude, you need therapy.
Yeah.
I was like in fucking like 3rd grade or something doing this.
Yeah, I was still in high school actually when South Park premiered. But it premiered in 97, so I would have been 17.
98, I think.
97.
Fudge
yeah,
Packer.
I think I was in 12th grade, man. I think that's when it premiered, but I always loved it, man.
You laugh like fucking
Packer.
Ronnie Coleman and Little
Because
Monsters,
it's just like, I just think whenever I think of Matt, I was Fudge Packer.
You talking about Cannibal the Musical?
Yeah.
You're not even doing the timing. That part is the best though.
Oh, Cannibal the Musical, I swear it gets funnier every time you watch it.
Oh,
man.
dude.
It's such a funny movie.
It does. Because the first time I saw it, I was like, this is terrible. What is this?
Well,
I was like, I don't get it.
The first time I
Moodz.
watched it, okay, this is how stupid I am sometimes. It's called Cannibal the Musical, and I was shocked that it was a fucking musical. I'm so stupid. I didn't think it was going to be like a full-on musical, right? But fucking stupid, man. So I was a little bit taken back by it. And I was like, I don't know, man. But yeah, it gets better. Yes.
Did you watch Kenny versus Spenny?
I did. Yeah, I watched.
Okay, because it's a Canadian show, and I was Jeremy didn't know about it, and I was like, oh, it's such a fun show. Because they're talking about rebooting it.
Oh my god, dude! Kenny always picking on Spenny, man. Was like.
Dude,
he would always fuck him over.
So
he would fuck him over so bad, but he would legit. It was so funny, dude. He would just mess with him so bad.
I was watching the one yesterday when they were trying to lose weight, and he's putting fucking laxatives in all his fruit without him knowing.
Yeah,
I was just fucking dying.
I probably saw all of them, man. I used to watch this shit all the time because it was hilarious watching Spenny just freak the fuck out. But he was always legitimately getting fucked over. Right?
Oh, he was getting fucked over. So like, there's some really bad. Like remember Kenny actually gave him LSD. Like this show could never work today.
No,
They
like,
really
Kenny
did.
actually gave like poisoned him with LSD.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's
legit.
Right. Yep.
I'd beat the fuck out of somebody if they did.
Dude,
Your whole day's ruined.
He
I mean, it's
endangered.
not like you're not going to work. You fucking fucked up for like 8 hours.
He legitimately put
they
his
were
life
working.
in danger a bunch of times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like just for the sake
sure.
of entertainment. Like it's just
Like
ridiculous.
he drank like a whole bottle of laxative.
Especially if you didn't know you were dosed. If you didn't know you were on LSD,
that's
you'd be like,
super
what the fuck is
dangerous.
going on?
super dangerous, man. Because like
Yeah,
people.
you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, if you don't know
Am I
you're
having
on
a
this
heart
shit, and you're
attack?
like, what the hell's wrong with me? Like, people do some crazy ass shit when they know they're on fucking acid. You know what I'm saying? Like when you
Right.
don't know, like you could probably go and hurt yourself, man. Like, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Honestly one of the best Canadian things ever. Kenny
Nah,
versus
Trailer Park Boys, man.
Oh, Trailer Park Boys is fucking.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Trailer Park Boys is great too.
John
I love-
Candy's the best Canadian thing ever.
I mean, that's not hard to argue.
I love John
Followed
Candy.
by Chris Farley, who's not Canadian.
I love John Candy.
Are we gonna
No,
talk about
there's-
Bob Saget, man? Fucking Bob Saget, dude.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. Dude, Bob's
That's weird.
so fucking sad, dude. Like, you know what?
It
I know.
was weird.
It's crazy that he died in his sleep. I don't know if they revealed the cause of death. I'm assuming heart
Not
attack.
yet.
I'm assuming. But,
That's what I'm assuming.
But they
too.
say he died in his sleep, and he did a show the night before, and he was like apparently killed it and was in good spirits, and then that's just how
Yeah,
life
he
is,
definitely
man.
did.
Five.
Life is
He
so
wasn't
short.
super young.
He was 65.
65
65 is
He's not
pretty
like-
young, though.
especially today.
And he
Yeah.
was in good shape. It's not like he was out of shape, and he could have had a bad heart. We don't
It's
know.
the curse
We have
of
no
dirty works, bro.
Yeah,
idea. Artie Lang is the
Dirty
only
Works.
one that lived. and-
He's the only one left.
that's pretty ironic, though.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Like that guy's been abusing himself for years and years, and he's the only one standing. That's ridiculous.
I mean,
The last one left.
There's a lot of people in it that are still alive. David Koechner, Chevy Chase, they're all still alive.
yeah.
Yeah, but all the good people are dead.
I mean, Chevy
Chevy
Chase is
Chase
pretty
is
good.
great.
David
I love-
Koechner's pretty.
I love
great.
Chevy
I don't know
Chase,
what the fuck
man.
you're talking
He
about.
always makes me laugh. He's
Those
just
guys are hilarious.
he's the
Chevy
king of
Chase is like a
sarcastic
legend, dude.
comedy. The king of
He's a
sarcastic
prick.
comedy, man.
I mean, he probably is a prick, but
He's definitely a prick, but he's still
legendary.
funny.
Yeah, Chevy Chase
He's
plays
just
himself in
comedian.
every movie. He's not even an actor. He just plays himself in every
He's
movie.
not an actor. Sometimes he doesn't even care, like nothing but trouble. He just hates it.
Oh my
I love that movie.
Okay,
Yeah, Moodz watched that.
That was the
recently
first time watch for
time.
me, and like I was
It's
busting
great, isn't it?
out. It's
It's a great
so
movie.
it's so batshit because of who did it. Like Dan Aykroyd and his brother wrote the movie, and his
Yeah.
brother just passed away too. So rest in peace to him. But and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, that Dan Aykroyd was involved with actually writing this shit and creating these batshit
The
crazy
scene when they're
characters.
sitting at the table and they're eating the fucking sausage
With
is
his dick nose?
absolutely
and his
hilarious.
dick nose and his
We
dick
used to
nose.
do that.
Oh my
We
god!
used to
so
do
funny.
that. We used to eat like sausage and gross food really slow and bite into it to try to gross each other out.
It's like
and,
he wants some mustard and he's just like pumping the fucking mustard on the tray. Oh my god!
You know what that
movie's fucking
reminded me of?
hilarious.
When I saw the dick nose, it reminded me of the cartoon. You ever watch the Oblongs? Will Ferrell
No.
did the voice of the dad, and it was basically the dad had no arms and no legs, and he would like drive around. And it was, and he had this like ridiculous family. But anyways, their little daughter had this big bump on her head, and it was shaped like a penis, and it was definitely shaped like a penis. It was fucking. It's an adult cartoon, man. It was totally.
Yeah, it was on
great.
Adult Swim.
Yeah, and it was so
Yeah.
funny, dude. Like, just some of the scenarios that they were put in because the father had no arms and no legs and he would do shit. It was fucking hilarious, man. But
What are
it got reminded me.
How about Digital Underground?
Dude, and I didn't know this. And, for me being like such a head and like, I never knew that they were in this movie. And all of a sudden Digital Underground shows up and they perform same old song and Tupac's in there. And like, he doesn't have any lines, but he's prevalent. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? This is crazy. I'm like, how did I not know that Digital Underground had not a major part, but they literally legit have a bunch of scenes.
A song in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like, we're a hip hop band. And I'm like, wow, that's fucking Shock G, aka Humpty Dumpty. I'm like, this is crazy, man. But yeah, no, what a weird movie, dude. And I didn't realize until the credits that Dan Aykroyd was playing the fucking, the dudes outside. He was that character too, man. I was like, oh, okay, fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I love that movie.
It's a fun movie.
It really is. It's so weird. It's got to be one of the most weird comedies I've ever seen.
The best line in the movie is those what are those fat twins where they double and little Bobo and Little Devil. Yeah. And they're like, I'm Bobo, I'm Little Devil. We're not allowed in the house. We're not allowed in the house. Okay.
That's tripping.
That's a good commentary movie.
It would be, man. That's exactly what makes it commentaries.
That was the first, when we did that for 91, that was the first time watch for me, and I was like, that was a lot of fun.
I grew up with that movie, man. Me and my cousin.
I never heard of it before.
I didn't know about it either, and I don't know how I didn't, man, because it just seems like something I would have saw, but I really wish I had seen it for 91.
All the time, nonstop.
Because I would have to take a look at my list right now for 91, but I'm pretty sure that shit would be making it now. Because I had a lot of fun with that, man. That was just nothing what I expected it to be, man. Like, it's.
Do you think it would be my number one for a reason? Come on.
Was it your
number one's a bit insane?
No.
Yeah, number one, especially when Child's Play is your favorite Child's Play.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Child's Play 3.
My favorite movie from my favorite franchise is not my number one of a year. That's not a great year.
Yeah.
It's like Fright Night being your number one when fucking Demons is your favorite movie of 85.
Yeah, no shit. That'd be like if I didn't put Day of the Dead there. I'd be like, you know what? I'm changing it.
I would just be like, Dave,
really blew me away.
I'd be, Dave, you're fucking with us, man. You're fucking with us, right? Yeah.
Gary Busey. I mean, it was on my top 10, but still.
Yeah, that was definitely a fun watch, man. So glad. Actually, the wife bought me that for Christmas, so that was kind of cool.
Blu-ray Dizzle.
What'd she buy me?
I've seen you've been doing a lot of 94 watching now.
Yeah, well, that's what I was doing, man. I was like, well, I'm gonna ruin my entire December by watching Christmas movies, because before that I was prepping 21 hard. Like, I was watching everything and I got sick of it because I was like, this year sucks. We'll switch it up to Christmas and whatever the fuck I want to watch. And then I'm like, I have this idea. I'm like, New Year starts, I'll get into 94, because I'm thinking, I'm like, 60 movies, we got like 5 months to prep, and I'm like, it's super easy. But then I just realized that I like watching 94 movies, so I just started watching them all.
I actually
I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
I've not actually had a miserable time at all. I've liked almost everything I've watched.
Yeah, me too, man. I haven't really hated anything. I mean, there's movies that are better than others, obviously, but I'm mixing it up like I usually do. Like, I'll try to fit in all the sequels, because there was like 20 sequels from 94 at least. There's so many of them. But so far it's been pretty decent with, I'd never seen Class of 99 Part 2, The Substitute. I'd never saw that one either before. And I was like,
saw it when I was a kid.
That was one of my first reviews on YouTube.
I never realized that the dude from the Kickboxer movies and Step by Step was the lead in the movie, whatever his name is. I just remember from the Kickboxer movies and Step by Step, TGI Friday. If you grew up in the 90s.
Kickboxer?
Yeah, the sequel. He took over for Van Damme in Part 2 and 3, I think. But he plays the lead in those movies, and he was also the guy from Step by Step, the TGI Friday TV show that was on, and that's how I knew him.
Step by Step.
I don't remember anything about Class of 1999 Part 2, The Substitute, except that...
It's not really a horror movie, but...
the guy's not even a fucking robot, if I remember correctly. Spoiler.
He's not.
He thinks he's a robot, but he ain't a robot.
Yeah, he totally thinks. But
that's all I remember.
There was a bunch of movies back in the 90s that had to do with like killer teachers, and I think there was actually a movie called The Substitute that goes fucking crazy and shit like that.
There's a whole series
there's 3 of them.
Yeah, there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
Moodz, why'd you unfollow everybody on Letterboxd, bro?
Oh, dude. Okay, so I wanted to explain this. So I was having this thought process with myself one day, and I was like, you know what, man? I want to try a sociological experiment here. I want to see how fast it's going to take me to lose tons of followers if I unfollow everyone, because I feel like people only follow other people just because you're following them, kind of thing. And so
I just follow people I'm genuinely interested in.
I'm only following like 5 people.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I wanted to see.
but-
I was like, if I dropped every single person on here, how long would it take for me to lose like 20, 30, 40, 50% of my followers? And
Did it
I think the
happen?
first week I lost 40.
How do they even know you stopped?
Yeah,
following?
that's weird.
I don't know. That's the thing. But I was watching it. I was like, oh, wow, okay, so there's 2 more gone. There's 2 more. And then it kind of plateaued. I lost about 40, and then I would gain a couple, and then I would lose a couple. So I technically lost maybe like 40, 45, and then it just kind of whatever. But yeah, I just was just curious. I'm weird like that.
You didn't have to unfollow us.
No, I'm going to refollow. I'm just trying out this experiment right now. And the funny thing
I
is,
didn't even notice.
I
I
check.
don't really care.
Well, I check Dave. I
The only
check your
reason I
guys'
noticed is
letterboxes all the
because-
time. Actually, to see
I
what's
check
going on.
Moodz' letterbox every single
Me
day.
too. Me
Yeah.
too.
And I went on it and I was like 0 followers. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I
Or
was
is
going to
it
explain
follower
that.
0?
I was going to explain that on the when you asked me about it in the group chat, and I was like, but my voice message wasn't working that day, so I couldn't voice it. And I was like, I don't feel like typing this out, man. I'll just explain to
Yeah.
him on here, and I kind of forgot. So, but anyways,
Yeah,
that was
because
the
you
thing.
asked me if I was having an identity crisis,
Yeah.
which made me laugh. And then I was like, how the hell does he even know? He doesn't even follow me.
No, I checked the letterboxes. Yeah, when I saw the Marvel movies, I was like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, JP must be stuck in his hotel room with nothing to do, and he's got access to a million Marvel movies, apparently.
Yeah, Disney Plus. Yeah,
There you
I've
go.
been watching. I watched a ton of them. They're all like fucking 2 hours long
Oh,
too.
yeah, dude, they're so...
I kind of burnt myself out on them for now, but I was enjoying them. I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy. That was a really fun one.
That's a
the
fun
James
movie.
Gunn movie. And then like I was like, what the fuck? This guy.
You like the one
unfollowed
Iron
us.
Man that everybody hates?
It was all right.
Part,
I
part
liked
2,
it.
yeah.
Oh, he likes
I-
part 3 the most.
Oh, really? Yeah, I like part 3. I would say I don't know. I like part 1 a lot too, but I like Tony Stark, man. I like Robert Downey Jr. as him. He's definitely the heart and soul of that entire universe.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore.
Well, yeah, but
You know, a movie I watched last night when I got home from the cinema after I watched Scream 5 is I popped on that Witch Hunt movie with Dennis Hopper, and I really did check it out because I'm a big fan of Dennis Hopper.
Is
And
that the
that,
sequel to that HBO movie? Like,
Yeah.
from 91?
Cast a Deadly Spell. Sequel.
Yeah.
okay, so it is a sequel, because I was going to say, man,
Yeah.
this movie totally reminded me of Cast a Deadly Spell that we watched for
Same
91.
thing. He's getting Lovecraft. He's a private inspector.
Yeah, I
but
didn't
I
realize.
watched it too.
I didn't-
we talked about that on the 91 show. I mentioned that there was a sequel.
Okay, I didn't realize. I completely forgot that it was like this
Yeah.
one. But I was like, okay, I'm like, is it a sequel? Is it related? I'm like, okay, so that makes a lot of fucking sense. I'm like, this movie reminds me of that other one.
It's so much cheaper than the other one, though.
It is. It really is, though. It's kind of a shame. Yeah, I feel like it could have been a lot better.
I feel like it could have been a series. Like, I'm surprised they didn't
I
turn it
agree.
into a series.
Yeah, I
I
just
mean, but Dennis Hopper and Fred Ward are both great, but nothing alike.
right.
Yeah, that's a weird casting choice.
What, Dennis Hopper
So-
or Fred Ward?
Yeah, just
No,
in terms
Fred
if you're
Ward
gonna,
was like to switch them. I mean, they're not
Yeah.
really like replaceable. I would have got like Stephen Mott or something like that to replace Fred Ward.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah, I know, right? Like now,
But
when
Dennis Hopper is so good. So
now when I think of it, and that's the thing, man. I love Dennis Hopper. Like he's a great actor.
he's one of the best. Eric Bogosian's great in the
Man,
movie,
he's
though.
so fucking good in True Romance, man.
What's the
Oh, yeah,
the
that whole
chick that
speech.
stars? Oh, Penelope Ann Miller. Yeah, she's good looking in this movie, man. She's got a really nice look to her.
Yeah, I feel like Cast a Deadly Spell, Julianne Moore was better though.
Probably in the role, yeah.
I just find her more attractive. too.
I laughed at the part where the friend stole the vehicle and then ends up going off the pier, and then when they pull it up, she's like
She's
a
like a
fucking mannequin.
mannequin, yeah.
Dude, I actually
Yeah.
laughed out loud by myself. I was like, dude, it just looks so funny to me because she's got this big wave going on. I'm like, she didn't go off there purposely. It's like she was waving in a parade or whatever he says, and I'm like, blah. It's fucking hilarious, man. Good old Dennis Hopper.
It's okay.
Rest in peace to
I mean,
Dennis,
it's not
Dennis
making
Hopper.
the top 10 list. Yeah, Dennis Hopper is one of the all-time greats.
Oh shit, Candyman 3 comes out this week. I forgot about that.
The Vestron.
Oh yeah, the Vestrons. Yeah, so
That movie.
Speaking of
sucks,
Vestron's moods, you want to sell me your slipcover, even though you always ignore me?
dude, you know I don't
Maximum
sell.
Overdrive?
You know I don't sell shit.
Or can I have it then?
Maybe I'll think about it. I still got to get my
Yes!
hands on. You know what? You know what's so weird? And I mentioned
I've
this
been
before.
looking for it for like 4 months.
buy it.
Vestrons
Don't want to buy it.
are so cheap in the States now, but they're so hard to get up here. You can't even
I
find
just
them
want the
anywhere.
slipcover. I don't even want the goddamn movie.
Why? What is wrong with you?
That's what I agree with Dave. Like as much like time he wasted finding it,
Just buy the fucker.
just fucking buy it.
Just
This
like-
one here, new
like
seal
Horseball
Blu-ray.
says,
Ask if
just
they have a
fucking buy it.
slipcover. This dude has 2 available. He sold 108. Asked you got the slipcover on this.
He doesn't have the slipcover.
How do you know? You ask him.
Because I
How do you know?
Because
You
I
don't-
know.
You don't know. Ask him. Send him a message.
Because a
You got
million
slipcover?
other people probably already asked him if they have the slipcover.
No, it's probably only like six other fucking crazy people,
Yeah, yeah.
and he has
a
190 copies.
Oh man.
The fact
Dude,
is,
fucking-
that's my copy I sent Moodz to begin with, so fuck that.
You are such a fuck. You're trying to get it back. He's like, I gave it to you a long time. That's why no one wants you to
No,
give.
didn't I pay for that though?
Racist.
Yeah, you did.
That is racist.
Yeah.
JP. I avoided saying that.
Yeah,
Wait,
'cause-
really?
Yeah, those
Yeah.
Vestrons are a pain in the dink, man. Those things are so hard to obtain up here. It's driving me nuts.
Do you have? Are you still missing some now?
I'm missing the Wraith, and I'm missing the.
You ain't missing much with the rate.
Well, I actually love the Wraith. I actually have an old DVD of it, but I'm missing that
That's
one.
a grow-up movie.
What's the other
If you
one?
saw
The-
it as a kid, you love
Sundown.
No, I got that one.
Sundown's fun.
No, I've got that one. I'm missing the newest one, the red, not Red Dawn.
Steel Dawn.
Steel Dawn.
Steel Dawn.
Steel Dawn.
Steel Dawn's a turd.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Is that the one with Patrick
Fucking
Swayze?
cheap post-apocalyptic movie with Brian James and Patrick Swayze.
Okay, so I'd never heard of this movie. I must have missed this one or something. I don't know what it is.
It's not good. I watched it on VHS years ago, and it's fucking snooze fest.
That's so bizarre.
I bought it anyways because I'm fucking dumb.
Yeah,
It was like $10.
It was like $10. They're all $10 now. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love, dude. They're so
No more,
cheap.
no more spending $75 on Maximum Overdrive.
I did not spend 70. Look at here's everybody's reviews on it. Everybody I follow on Letterboxd, there's not one pass. James D. Cokes gave it 2.5 for Steel Dawn.
Yeah.
The rest are 1, 2, 1.5, 3.
I just can't
So
see.
shitty.
And I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic movies, and like I can't even
too.
picture Patrick Swayze in one. It just seems like it's miscasted. I don't know.
It is miscast. Anthony Zerbe's in it. I don't remember that.
Yeah, weird, very strange.
You should just not watch it and watch the Omega Man instead with Anthony Zerbe as a mutant. It's much better and post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, I love that movie too. I actually own a copy of it.
I love it too.
Yeah. Good shit. Good shit. All right.
I thought I read that they were. What did I read this week? That they were releasing after
Candyman?
Dream a Little Dream.
What?
What
I
the
want
fuck is
Ghoulies
that?
3, god damn it.
The Dream a Little
Feldman
Dream.
movie?
The Corey.
Corey Feldman.
The Corey movies.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I want Ghoulies 3.
So Vestron is just completely lost their way, and now they're just releasing whatever.
I don't know. That's the next Vestron.
Because that
Steel
How do you
Dawn
know?
or whatever.
well, that movie
Because
doesn't
I'm
really.
looking at Blu-ray.com. Vestron video. Dream a Little Dream coming soon to Blu-ray on March 15th.
But it's
Well,
like
at
a.
least that's a cult movie. I'll watch it again.
It's like
I think
a-
I've seen it as a kid.
What is it, like a romantic comedy, basically? It's been years since I've seen it, but it's a comedy though, right? Yeah, that one doesn't really fit into the. I mean, I get with like the Steel Dawn, it's post-apocalyptic, whatever. That type of subgenre film fits in with the horror and exploitation. I always feel it does. But this one, I don't know.
Dream a Little Dream's better. I guarantee than Steel Dawn.
Yeah, it's been years
Oh,
and
we got
years since I've
both
seen it.
Corys in it.
But it is
Yeah, I
released
said the
by
Corey
Vestron
movie.
Pictures back in the day, so maybe that's
Yeah.
why.
Oh,
That's
okay,
fine.
that's completely what it is. Really?
We want Ghoulies 3.
Ghoulies 3.
Well, he said multiple times that he lost his excitement for Ghoulies 3 when Bugler died.
Well, they should have got it released earlier.
I agree. But you didn't know Bugler was going to die.
He had cancer.
Well, before that.
He had like a severe cancer, though, didn't he?
Colon, I think.
Yeah, and
I
he
feel
was
like-
already older.
I feel like Vestron's got access to a lot of good movies if they're going by their back catalog and shit, so it'll be
guess
interesting to
we're
see what they
Wait
do.
for fucking
getting-
Alligator, bro. I'm so
Yeah,
excited
Alligator.
for that. I'm like literally so pumped for that.
You know,
I've
I-
never been more excited. in
That's
a
why
while.
I just like
Just gotta sit on your shelf.
being a collector in this
No, I'm
day and
watching
age
that
right
day
now
long.
is crazy. Like the golden age of collecting when we get Alligator on 4K. Like that shit was. Well,
With a
I
shitty
guess
cover.
I guess it did have a DVD release, but
Why they
whatever.
said
But
the Legends of Boggy Creek was going to come out in 4K now.
Yeah,
you know what needs to come out on 4K? I will not rest until Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan hits 4K.
But you're gonna buy it for the 8th time. So.
I need it. I gotta have it.
Oh my God.
I gotta see that boat ride in HD in 4K.
I would definitely buy it, but
of course you
everybody would buy it because everybody buys all the Friday movies every time they come out. So
yeah, especially
Moodz.
Exploding Heads.
Do you remember that part in Friday 8 when they're on a boat for fucking 45 minutes?
And then they show up in Vancouver.
Well, no, the whole time they're on the boat, I'm thinking to myself, how the hell did they get from Crystal Lake to here and on a boat?
I wouldn't even care if it was like, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and then that's the thing, right? The budget, man, ends up in Vancouver. Actually, yeah, all those all the subway scenes, which are actually Vancouver SkyTrain. It's Vancouver. It's pretty funny. But
yeah, I was like,
so
we need to get these reviews done, and I'm like, remember Friday 13 Part 8?
Yeah, that's you, fucking idiot.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, I was trying to move it along, and then someone said
Scream
something.
Factory's got some good shit coming up with Lipstick and Alligator. Definitely mind Lipstick.
Yeah, I'm happy that they're releasing all those Warner movies, man.
Yeah, but fucking Alligator, dude. I've loved that movie so much.
It is. It's really good, man.
Chicago classic right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name?
But the classic original theatrical art is like one of my favorite posters of all time. You know, with the alligator and the sewer tunnel.
What's the
Fucking
tagline
great.
on Alligator? I remember the tagline is great. If I remember, it's
You know what
something
sells the
underneath the city or what? Let me read that.
It lives 50 feet beneath the city. It's 36 feet long. It weighs 2,000 pounds, and it's about to break out. That's a long.
Yeah,
fucking
that's
tagline.
fucking creepy sounding, bro.
That's a mouthful.
But you know
Now,
what, man?
Alligator 2 is not as good, but also has a great poster.
You know what?
Alligator 2 is actually garbage.
You know what I love about
I
this movie
still like it, but
is that it's got Robert Forster in it, man. Who I'm a huge fucking fan. Rest in peace to Robert
Well, it
Forster.
says here
also
in
too.
an interview, filmmaker Quentin Tarantino said that Robert Forster's character David Madison inspired the character Max Cherry
From-
his 1997
Yeah,
we
film
know
Jackie
that.
Brown.
Yeah, I've heard it. I know that. And then Henry Silva's also in it too, which is like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, he's great.
That's an amazing cast right there, man. And plus, it's got a massive alligator. It's awesome.
we should do an alligator show.
Robert Forster is one of those supremely underrated kind of cult actor and stuff. And obviously, his career was kind of resurrected with the
Just died.
Tarantino role. But yeah, I just said rest in peace, Forster.
The
But
Wolf of Snow Hollow, man, he was fucking great in that movie.
I know.
Alligator 2 also has the most miscast actor of all time.
That was his last movie, right?
Which
That was
one?
His last movie, The Wolf of Snow Hollow.
Oh no, I love
Yeah.
that. I love the movie, and I was really sad that because at least he went out with a bang. Like I thought he was really good in the movie. So
Yeah,
yeah, he was an underrated actor, man. I just
he's a
I
good
feel-
actor.
Yeah, really, really good, man.
Jim Cummings, man, that guy's coming up and up.
Oh yeah, he was great in Beta Test. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
Great movie. Not horror though. I didn't think it was horror enough.
It's not horror.
I really did. You're talking to the guy who put Spontaneous on his fucking list. So if I didn't put it, fuck it.
It's on my list too.
That's coming out on Blu-ray on Valentine's Day. Buying
Good.
that. It's about time.
What's
we were just
one-
talking about that on the last show that I didn't have a Blu-ray release, and then the next week, here it comes on Blu-ray.
Spontaneous made that many lists. Crazy.
Yeah, it was Carly's list, my list, Dave's,
Mine.
Jeremy's, I think.
Yep. That's
So
a great
it
movie.
was on everyone's list but mine.
Right.
Yeah, just like Last Night in Soho, which is the most popular horror movie of 2021.
Yeah, I liked it. I
Yeah.
didn't love it though, but
It was my number one.
I like the
I
look
know.
of the
I
movie
got
probably
3 out
more
of
than the
4
movie
right.
itself. But yeah, I think I did better
I
than
did the best that anybody's ever done.
I think I
No
got,
Hall of Fames in 2020 or 2021. How about that?
I think I got the
Oh my
most
God,
right I've
dude.
ever got. Actually, I got 3 right.
So
I
I went
think.
to I went to Spontaneous on Amazon, and the first 3 reviews are all 1 stars, and they're all clearly like plants, like people that planted them, and they're all like bitching about the political comments were unnecessary. It's like, grow the fuck up, dude.
Oh my god.
I don't agree with what they said, and now my
political
feelings
comments?
are hurt. I don't give a flying fuck, dude. I watch fucking movies with characters I don't agree with all the time. Get the fuck off, you fucking
That's
little
what
bitch.
I'm saying. Like, why? When has the world made it to where you need to agree with like the characters in the movie? Like, there's so many characters I don't agree with. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's ridiculous.
All right.
That's
Well,
Anybody that
fucking
rates that
movie
one
right
star knows nothing what they're talking
No,
about. I don't
that-
care
that-
if you don't like it,
like-
but giving a movie like that 1 star is outrageous.
no, I mean,
Texas
I
Chainsaw Massacre is overrated.
just because it
Yeah, it
didn't
ain't
make my
one
top
star.
10 didn't mean I didn't like the movie. I actually watched the movie with my wife, and she loved it. She liked
I mean,
it
you're
a
not
lot
going to
more than
rate
me.
it 1 star, even if you don't like it. You'd be like, hey, at least it has decent cinematography and it's well made to a certain extent. You even if you didn't like it, I still think you'd give that 3 out of 5.
Yeah, but the thing is, most
Agreed.
people rate movies based on things they don't like, and if they don't like something, they usually don't really like it. So hence
Yeah.
a 1 out of 10. It doesn't even make sense if you're, objectively reviewing a movie. I mean, the movie's not a 1 out of 10. Even if you didn't like it, it simply isn't.
No way.
It's a well done movie. It's a well acted movie.
Unless it's
Shot.
something really, really bad, right?
Yeah. And it's an interesting idea too. So I mean, right there, I mean, it's already at least a 5. So fuck off.
Yeah, like we
So-
watch so many bad movies. People have no.
Yeah, like slimy little bastards.
That's like my
Yeah,
friends
that-
who's like,
I mean,
"Oh, I
yeah,
just
that-
watched
that
this
could be
movie.
a
It was
one.
fucking terrible." I was like, "You should watch Violent Shit 3." It's like, come on.
Violent Shit 3 is the best Violent Shit movie.
Whatever.
Shout out to
Whatever.
Dan the cameraman.
Yeah, Violent Shit 3. Oh my god. I haven't watched those movies
It's
forever.
best. Violent Shit 1's worse. No, Violent Shit 4 is the worst.
Yeah,
the
Violent
remake is even worse. The remake is the worst movie I've ever seen. Not one.
That Italian
the
one?
one that
Oh lordy. Didn't
Carl Casey
Simonetti
released
do the fucking score for that too?
I see.
He did. I'm pretty sure that Simonetti did the music for that Violent Shit
You remake a German SOB splatter movie, an Italian.
And the funny thing is, though, as much as I always defend Simonetti's scores and shit, man, his music actually isn't even that good in that movie, which is crazy.
Scene.
Like, honestly, dude, if his music
Even like
isn't-
the worst movies ever are.
Yeah. And that's the other thing I'm liking about 94, man, is the fact that, like, there's a lot of shot on video movies, and they're all pretty decent.
Don't watch Heaven is Only in Hell. That is not decent, Moodz.
I don't know.
Watch
that one.
gore horror.
Gore horror is fun. Watch gore horror.
I like all 3 of those movies. I like that trilogy of movies, actually.
Me too.
Yeah.
The first one's a little lackluster, a little
Yeah.
kind of
Gore,
soft.
Gore Horror actually is the 3rd one in the trilogy, oddly enough. So
Yeah, the second one's my favorite. I think the second one's called. Is it called Gorotica or Gorotica? I think it is.
Gorotica.
Gargantuan.
Is that the one with the AIDS? The one with the AIDS, and like the guy has AIDS, so he pays people to fuck dead bodies.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
weird.
that one's the best.
What a fucked up storyline.
What's the LA age jabber movie?
That's about a guy who gets AIDS and runs around
Starts
with a needle
jabbing
and
people.
jabs people.
Yeah. I know the story,
That
but
you
I've
should
never
watch
seen
it.
it.
'Cause there-
That's like that is so
There's-
fucked up.
There's
Yeah.
one part in the movie where he's like,
What's
this
it called?
lady, the social worker, LA AIDS jabber, the social worker's trying to calm him down, and she's like, I can help. He's like, how are you going to help me, lady? I got AIDS. AIDS! And he screams. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. AIDS isn't funny, but it is funny in the context of 1990s trashy-ass movies trying to exploit it. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, AIDS was still super serious back then too. Like
I
there
can't
wasn't
believe they
such
made that
kids.
shit.
Yeah,
Such trash, man.
Well, by 94, at
Well-
least they had a better understanding, so it's like even less forgivable. You know, like what's the one that Massacre Video released, Dave? The AIDS slasher
City of
film.
Panic.
City of Panic. And that one was
That's
done
a good movie, though.
Yeah, that one's actually legitimately pretty good, but it was done at a time where AIDS was, people were still trying to figure it out. They thought that AIDS was only related to gay people.
Yeah.
The ideas were just so simplistic.
But it takes itself serious. It's not. It is exploitation, but at least it attempts to be scary. You
Right,
know, it's
right,
serious.
right.
It's
And-
not like LA AIDS jabber.
Yeah, it's one of the early AIDS movies, to be honest. Like, I think it come out in 87 or something like that. Like, that's pretty
I'm not
fucking.
100%. That sounds about right, though.
It's
You just
early
think about
for
like all
making
these
movies
movies
about
that
AIDS.
get made, like fucking like Crazy Murder. It's like, how the hell is Crazy Murder? And
Oh my god, the
Murders
shit in
get
that
made.
movie, man. There's so much literal shit.
I know.
Oh my god, it's so gross. Like, it makes me gag to the point where I'm just like,
You guys should watch LA AIDS Jabber. Like I spoil the movie in my review, but it's complete and utter bullshit. And I almost want to just tell you it's bad. I gave it a 3.5 out of 10.
that is
Like-
bad.
But I laughed a lot. Like I mean, it's fucking so bad that at one point, like, there's like 2 actors talking, 2 cops, and then it just cuts to another scene where all these other cops show up to the female partner's house, and they're like, "Your partner's dead." And next scene, she has a new partner because you know that guy quit.
What?
Watch it. You guys gotta watch it. It's that bad. It's fucking nonsense.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean,
L.A. AIDS Jack.
I got to fill in the gap for my
even
60s, so maybe I'll check it out. I mean, the name alone.
I think it's fucking.
The name alone is worthy of checking out for sure.
You guys should.
I know.
You guys should definitely watch The Rapist too from Hong Kong. No, this is fucked. The two movies back to back, both made in '94, The Rapist and Portrait of a Serial Rapist, which I watched with no subtitles because I had to watch.
I remember
both.
watching your reviews on that
It's
because
based
you were
on a
like
true
just
case.
curious.
Where this
because
rapist literally would rape women and beat them and sometimes kill them in these apartment complexes. And they, like, before he was even fucking dead in the ground, I don't think he even died, but regardless, they fucking made two movies. The case happened in '93. They already got two movies in '94 exploitation movies.
How the hell did you watch a movie without subtitles, bro?
Because I watched The Rapist and then it had subtitles, and then Portrait of a Serial Rapist was the same story. So I just kind of guessed.
So is that the sequel?
No, it's just that it made it the same year, same story, not related apparently.
Oh, okay.
The same movie, except the Portrait is even more sleazy, and they just like all the shots are just wet, like alley shots of naked breasts and like
when
guys
did this
groping them.
case happen?
'93.
What the fuck?
Look it up. I started reading about it, but I could barely find anything about any Hong Kong crimes, which kind of surprised me. I was like,
they just wiped it from the net. So
I mean, it's not easy to find about other countries' crimes apparently, especially probably now that they're like getting fucking destroyed by China.
Yeah, it's got to be very, very publicized, like the memories of murder and shit like that. Shit like, you know.
Still have to watch that.
That is such a great movie, man. It is such a great
I'll
movie.
give it 5 out of 5.
It is so, and it's crazy too because they made the movie before.
Oh wait, Memories of Murder? No, I've seen
before before like more came out from it.
Yeah.
So it's
like
kind of
Henry.
it's kind of crazy actually. So yeah, I remember getting the update on that. I was like, oh, fucking gnarly. That's really crazy. Really good movie. I can see why it's one of Tarantino's favorites for sure because it's legit.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I've seen that.
Yeah,
you guys reviewed it.
We reviewed it, dude.
we reviewed it.
Oh yeah,
it's so
I
good.
was trying to think what it was. I was like, it sounds so.
That was the show with Dylan when Dylan was on.
That's right. Yeah.
Guys, I've been very generous in my ratings. I gave The Paperboy from Canada from 1994 a 7 out of 10. So
you told me that I would like it.
It's all you.
I
you'd like it. I gave it a 7
of that movie.
It's totally you. You like Mikey and all that shit, right? That's you.
I've
like
never
that
seen
stuff,
Mikey.
Right? You'd like Mikey too. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Did you know there's a Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer 2?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple
It's
times.
awful.
We reviewed it. Me and Moodz reviewed it once.
The best part of that movie
put it up.
is when he runs over and he pushes that kid on the bike and he's like, find somebody else to pick on.
I don't even remember it, man, to be honest. I just remember it being messy. It was messy.
It's one of those things where it's like, dude, you casted someone that looks nothing like fucking Rooker at all.
He's all chubby.
Yeah, it's like he gained like 30 pounds.
He's
in the
actually in
face.
Shawshank Redemption. He's one of the prisoners.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the guy that
He fucking knows
Brooks
everything.
Brooks holds a knife to his throat. His name's like Neil something. I can't remember 100%.
Motherfucker knows everything.
Well, I've seen Henry too a couple times.
Did you know this guy who's in this one movie of a sequel was in Shawshank? He was prisoner number 17. He was.
He's a real actor. I mean, I just don't know his name.
He had the knife hold to him.
Oh, he's in Child's Play. He's Eddie Caputo.
Oh,
Yeah, Neil something.
Caputo.
His name's Neil what? Neil what?
Neil
Italian, right?
Giantoli.
which they mention in the TV series, which is cool. Did you watch it, Moodz?
Not yet.
Ugh.
Gonna get to it. Trust me.
No one's
The
watched
motherfucker played Eddie Caputo. How about that? Oh, and he's in Next of Kin.
Yeah, he's a
Next
real
of Kin.
actor. He's in the next of kin with
Like the
Patrick Swayze.
Aussie. Oh, he's
Oh,
in.
okay.
Oh,
I
the
thought it
Patrick
was fun.
Swayze
Nah,
one.
he's in the next of kin with Patrick Swayze and Bill Paxton. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I was gonna
he's
say he's
also
not in the
in The
Aussie
Borrower,
movie. He's not in the Aussie movie.
What's up?
He's also in The Borrower.
Oh, nice.
Nice, that's a good
Great
movie.
movie.
What, did you
just
just read
came
this
out.
whole fucking cast listing?
Well, I was just mentioning.
I mean, he's a character actor. He's in like 200 movies.
All right. Well,
right,
that should conclude the intro. I think we're roughly about an hour into this. Oh yeah. So that's about shutdown time for the intro. So yeah, we'll be
I
back.
tried to stop us once.
Yeah, we'll be back here momentarily with some Evil Dead Trap trilogy movies. See you then.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, so getting into the featured reviews here on episode 219, and like we said off the top of the show, we got the Evil Dead Trap Trilogy, and this is a Patreon pick, if I might say.
Yep.
Do we know who it's coming from?
Zaza.
Zaza. Oh,
Zaza.
Well, that makes sense. That actually makes sense.
She's the best patron.
Why? Because she's Asian?
Well, yeah.
No, she always picks the Asian movies.
I'm
She
just
picks the
saying.
Hong Kong movies.
Yeah.
But she gave us Wreck as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't
She
want
always
to be,
gives us good shit.
I didn't want to be stereotypical, but I'm
she
just
gave
saying.
us Hellraiser as well, I think. Did she not? I can't remember.
She
Or
actually
no,
does.
that was like a community thing.
She really does have good picks, though, for sure. I've
Yeah,
enjoyed
well,
the shows.
she's like one of my favorite listeners. Because
She always leaves good comments, too.
Comments, good
Yeah.
comments, yeah. She's always
She's listened
like,
forever too.
and she's listened forever. She's a very dedicated listener. One of my favorite listeners for sure.
Yeah, she's
I'll
seen.
just say my favorite listener.
Yeah, she's seen.
It's not Dan the cameraman.
She has definitely been there. Dan the cameraman. She's definitely seen the roller coaster ride of 22 shots over the years for sure. But
And she's stuck with us the whole time.
right, man. There's not too many I think that have been down since day one right to now. I mean, it's a long time. I get it. You know, people's attention spans are like goldfish. So mad props to her for sticking it out for 8 years, man. 9 years, 9 years. It's been a while. Yeah,
What's wrong with Dan the cameraman, you bitch?
Well, his name's Dan
What?
the cameraman.
I like Dan the cameraman.
bet
I
you
never
he's-
said nothing bad
I
about
bet
him.
you he's not even a cameraman. That's just bullshit.
I just said he wasn't my favorite.
He doesn't even own a camera
Well, if he
except for
was
the one that's on his
Cenobite, he'd be a
iPhone.
cameraman. So
He only
He's
owns
a Cenobite cameraman.
the only camera he has is on his iPhone. Come on. No, I'm just fucking with you, buddy.
No, I'm sure he is.
I'm just.
No, I
fucking
love
with
Dan.
you.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, so starting out with the first film here from the glorious year of 1988, directed by. I'm not going to say this. Can anyone pronounce this properly?
Great. I never heard of that guy. What else has he directed?
Toshihira.
three.
I think it's Toshihira Akita. Toshihira Akita. It's probably close enough.
Yeah, he did Evil Dead Trap 3. And he did a movie called Mermaid. What was the fuck? The Mermaid one he did is his most popular film.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it.
I've never seen. I've heard of it though. Yeah.
And then he did some of those fucking like
Didn't he do
action
Kinky
sex
movies or something?
Yeah, he did a couple of those too. I can't. There's a big series like XX, Beautiful Woman. There's a bunch of them. There's like 10 of them.
Did he do one of the female
He did two of them.
prisoner movies? Is that the guy? He did one of them.
I don't.
Or was
I
it
don't
just
know.
Pinky
These ones
movies?
are called like XX Beautiful or something. There's
Oh, okay.
like 4 or 5 of these fucking series like that in the 90s.
All right, cool. All right, so Toshihiro Akita, Evil Dead Trap from 1988, which is such a interesting year. Getting into a quick little synopsis here. A late night TV presenter receives a snuff tape in which a woman is brutally killed. She decides to take a crew to the location indicated in the tape, but only death and despair awaits them. Now, I haven't seen The Evil Dead Trap, and I would probably say a good decade. And, it honestly was not overly fresh in my mind. So, rewatching it, which now has been put out by Unearth on Blu-ray, which is very cool.
Unearthed Classic.
Yeah, so that's very cool that this movie got, the treatment that it kind of deserves because, but if I had to sum up The Evil Dead Trap in a nutshell, on rewatch, that I probably wasn't thinking too heavily about it the last time I watched this, but if you took Argento, Fulci, and Cronenberg and they had a baby, pun intended, you get Evil Dead Trap.
Well, you got the score for sure.
Yeah, you could add some Cohen and Raimi in there too.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you could even, man, but it's just crazy. Like how many elements in this movie are so, it's like a love letter, man. It really is like,
oh, for sure.
From the lighting in this movie, which is very Argento influenced. I mean, some of the atmosphere is
Cohen,
Fulci,
too.
gore is Fulci, but the music is like a combination of, it's like deep
I was
red.
watching going, this sounds like a fucking Italian movie. I was like, I'm watching an Italian movie by
It
the
is.
score. It's hilarious.
This movie is,
It sounds like Goblin and Fabio Frizzi.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it's like they're imitating Deep Red and The Beyond together.
You know,
Yeah.
it's got that
I got
type
a
of
little
score.
Phantasm vibe from it too.
Like, even the way this movie's kind of acted and the way it presents itself, the aesthetic and shit is so Italian. So the Argento and Fulci thing is so prevalent here. And of course, we got the Cronenberg elements in there too, which, you know, play into the third act and stuff. But it's an interesting premise because this is a Japanese movie that's doing very much an Italian style movie, you know, with some other elements, but it's like an American style slasher also. It's just got elements of so many things that I love. Jeremy, are you moving furniture over there?
Yeah.
Are you moving?
I have to.
But I got to say, though, man, because if everyone knows me, I'm a huge... Fulci's my favorite director. I'm a huge Argento fan. I'm a huge Cronenberg fan. I'm a huge slasher fan. This movie literally is everything I love in movies. I love great music. I love great atmosphere. I love great kills. Like, it fucking has everything that I love. And it's got a weird narrative. It's got a really strange narrative. And, you know, it's kind of interesting, too, because the narrative in this film, in the core, is very similar to a movie that came out last year, to a degree. And that's what I'll say. I don't know if we really don't have to spoil these movies because they're not really related. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have, like, usually when we're doing trilogies or
me and Dave
franchises.
were talking about that. Like,
because these
part
all.
2 kind of is related to part 1.
No,
kind
all
of.
these
part 1, 2, and 3, they have all similarities, but they're very loose.
Yeah, I'm just saying we don't need to talk about endings to lead into the next movie. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a franchise.
Yeah.
They've pretty much are standalone movies, but I got to say, man, upon rewatching this thing, I was just like totally taken back by this. I was like, this movie is so much fun. It's got a simple premise. It literally, I read the premise off, and it's like that. You know, our lead here, Nami.
Yeah, it's not like the next movie.
Yeah, no, she basically just assembles a crew to go and check out the snuff tape that she's been sent and stuff. And, you know, mayhem ensues. People start getting picked off one by one. It plays itself out like an American slasher. I mean, people are dying, you know, going off and having sex and doing ridiculous things and fucking getting picked off, but in very interesting and unique ways and stuff. And this is a fucking blast. I just absolutely enjoyed. I actually wanted to rewatch it again. Because, you know, and the only thing that bugged me about this watch was the fucking subtitles were driving me nuts.
Hey, you stole my thunder.
And you know what?
The
thing is that's weird about the subtitles, though, is that they're only off when Nami and Hideki are on screen together. I don't know if that was something to do with the way the audio was, or I have no idea, man. But it's weird because if you watch it, if you see any other scenes with Nami or any other characters that are, you know, on the screen, the subtitles are fine. It's just when those two characters are by themselves, they're completely off, and it's really frustrating to watch.
Well, I'm an idiot because I'm watching it and I'm like fucking thinking that I'm on Plex because sometimes the subtitles mess up on Plex.
Right.
And I'm like trying to I'm like messing with my Xbox controller and I'm like, why the fuck is the menu not popping up? And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm watching the Blu-ray because I did order the Blu-ray to the hotel and I watched it on Blu-ray.
Oh, dude,
and then
that's
I'm like,
classic.
wait a minute. So that's and then like I never think that it's the disc. Like I always think that something's wrong with like my like Xbox or like the player or something.
Right.
And like so that's when I was like I like texted it in the chat that the subtitles are fucked up because I was like, that's fucking weird because yeah, it messes up and it's delayed and then it fixes itself and then it happens again. I didn't notice that it was only during those two characters' interactions.
Yeah,
but,
I noticed it right away. I was like, there's something weird about when it's just them two on screen. And it sucks too because going back to kind of the construction of the film, it's a really interesting way of doing it because pretty much every one of our characters except for the two main ones, Hideki and, you know, the detective Hideki, everybody dies, kind of a spoiler, but everybody gets really kind of picked off in this movie in the first 45 minutes. And it's an interesting premise because this movie runs 100 minutes and I was watching it going, well, what the fuck are they going to do for the next fucking 50? This is crazy. Yeah. But it does slow down a little bit, but it also gets really interesting too. And, you know, for a 100-minute movie, it definitely held my attention. I will say, like, you know, it does slow down a tiny bit. It doesn't snail itself, though. But to kill off pretty much everybody in, like, the first half of the movie is just an interesting way of doing it. But I think it worked out.
Are they just, like, in a abandoned, like, factory or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a factory. Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the locations and the lighting used. And, like, they even do some, like, when they're on that... The funny thing about being on the roof though is like I'm like, there's all this dry and these guys just keep standing in the puddle. Why do you keep standing in the puddle? There's literally dry everywhere else and you guys are just flapping around and even getting down on the ground in this puddle.
I just laughed. Like everybody could escape like 10 times over, but they don't. It's just like, well, as Moodz says, that's very slasher-like.
Yeah, I mean,
keep on going back.
I mean, the beginning of this movie is super. Like, if you're, if you know your slasher movies, I mean, there's really nothing different about the beginning of this one. I mean, they get there and they're there for a premise.
I would say that there is pretty much a major difference in the opening of this movie than any other slasher movie. To be honest,
Well,
that snuff opening is by far the most graphic snuff kill I've seen. Not most, but one of the most graphic and best snuff I've ever seen. Just the way it's shot, the way it comes in, the camera, and it's very voyeuristic. It's perfect.
Right.
And you
I'm
see
not
the
talking
aesthetic
about that.
through the video camera like that, and then when you actually get to the location, it's absolutely horrifying. Like, that is the best. The first act of this movie is a 10 out of 10 for me. It sets up everything perfect with the snuff, with the luring of them, and how she's the late night broadcaster, which is the Cronenberg playing in there.
Right.
It's just a perfect trap. But
Let me ask
it's an
you
Evil
guys
Dead
this.
trap, man. It's perfect.
I was just talking about when they get to the factory, everyone kind of disperses.
That's all typical.
And then it
I got what
becomes
you're
the
saying.
typical. I'm not talking about the actual setup. And I agree, man. The snuff tape, the gore, the setup is brutal, dude. I'm like, it's a great way to open up the film because you're like, holy shit, man. Now, like, it sucks you in literally. It fucking traps you. Like,
And when you watch something like that on a shitty aesthetic, think August Underground, think any of those Japanese movies where you're watching fake snuff or anything within like found footage, it adds an element of realism that makes it real disturbing. Like, and that's why that works really well for me. And they reuse that kind of an Evil Dead trap too, when she's the kind of late night talk show host, reporter, and they're filming a lot of murders. I only bring that up because that's one of the major relations that Evil Dead Trap 1 and 2 have, is the late night video footage. Seeing through the camera's point of view, it adds a sense of just nastiness.
And besides the fact that they reused the name Hideki in the second one.
And all the baby shit. They all have baby shit.
Yeah.
I might have missed this, but how did they know to go to that area?
There was a sign, a shot of the sign.
Yeah, the sign on the highway.
Oh, okay.
On the highway.
It's a little reaching, but I assume they didn't show you every little detail of the video.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't specifically tell them in the tape where exactly it is. She just kind of figured it out. She had a general idea where it was, and then they even show you, they kind of cut to that. I don't even know what you would call that shot there, and it shows you that it was the same place from the video kind of thing. Like, okay, it actually proves that it is kind of thing.
Back. Yeah, they do that. They show you the shitty aesthetic, and they show that's really cool.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you guys what your thoughts were on. So, I mean, when you go into a movie like this, it's called Evil Dead Trap, and the first thing you're thinking of is Evil Dead, right? And they do have the elements of
some stuff.
They do have the elements
of the camera work.
It's just the rainy camera work, but really in this movie, it has. Obviously in the Evil Dead, it's supernatural shit, right? But in this one right here, they more or less use the Evil Dead or the Sam Raimi camera work. I'll just refer to it as the Sam Raimi camera work as transitional.
But only twice, though.
But what are your thoughts on that? Because it really doesn't play into the narrative at all. It has nothing to do with what's going on. It's more or less just a transitional thing to relate to the name of the film being Evil Dead. Right, so
but you don't think it's like a first-person perspective of? Oh, that's a spoiler, so I'm not going to say that.
Well, I mean, I don't really know how.
Death trap. The whole thing's a death trap.
I know, but I mean,
they lured him there, so that's about it.
Exactly, right? But it has nothing to do with like a supernatural type element. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not the same thing as what's going on.
Supernatural, but not the same. It's not demonic.
Exactly, exactly my point. So I actually kind of
it's unnatural,
but that's what I liked about it. I liked
that they
when
used the fucking steel beams come through the wall. I'm like, okay,
right. I just love the way.
You know what that reminded me of? Sorry, go ahead, Moodz.
I just really like the fact that they use that as just transitional shit. I was like, okay, fine. I can roll with the punches here, man. I thought it was actually really well done.
I like it too. I think the camera work's really inventive. Like, and it has that lively kind of like just do it yourself kind of quality that makes it special. There's two fucking directors or two films that I really think were like, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to base half my fucking aesthetic and fucking stylistic choices off this. And that is The Ring. I think The Ring shares a lot of similarities to this, Finding the Tape. And I would say that James Wan's whole fucking career takes a lot from Evil Dead Trap. And I like James Wan's Malignant. I like his films aesthetically for the most part. Sometimes they look like shit, but because they're supposed to. They're supposed to look like that. But like if you look at something like Saw, kind of the aesthetic, it's similar. And even the traps, that trap with the spikes and shit is just like, and the one, of course, with the door handle. I won't spoil that, but those are insane traps.
Yeah.
Dude, actually, now that you mentioned Saw, I could totally see that.
Yeah, I always thought it was.
Yeah, it's the factory. It's kind of the abandoned building type thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is Saw. I was like, that's when I was like,
but
nothing's original when you're like 20. You're like, everything's ripping off old Asian movies. And then I was like, I saw this and I was like, hey, Saw, rip this
But
movie
he is
off.
Asian.
Well, it's ironic a little bit, right? Because this movie feels like a big love letter to a lot of big names and stuff. Like there's a lot of things that you can just relate right back to your favorite movies kind of thing. But then you look at the core narrative in here, and then we just watched Malignant. Come on, right? And it's like everyone's comparing Malignant to, you know, Basket Case and Sister and all these type of movies mixed in with maybe some fucking Matrix, John Wick shit, you know. But all the influences are there from the main narrative of Malignant to this. And you mentioning James Wan, I knew it was going to aesthetically, but even, you know, what's going on there.
Even the inside person.
Right.
Yeah. 2 in 1.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I thought of the James Wan thing too. I just didn't want to, I wasn't sure how to approach it and even bringing up Malignant because now people know exactly what we're talking about. But
it's even more so because this has like Italian influence feels, and so does Malignant. So it's like even more of a thing. And this guy, I would be shocked if this guy wasn't a big like Italian horror film fan, especially judging by the third film, which he also directed.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, wow.
I should bring up this before I give him all the credit in the world. I would say that honestly, his snuff footage is probably inspired by like, what was the first guinea pig film? Devil's Android.
Dude, I thought the same thing. I thought the exact same thing. Yeah.
Those were very inspirational movies. As much as people kind of poo-poo them or say, fucking, I said poo-poo because I listened to fucking Exploding Hits today. God damn you guys. As much as people are like, oh, those are just trash. I mean, those movies were kind of, they inspired a lot of films.
But it makes sense though, man, because the original Guinea Pig film, what year did it come out in? It would have been 85. So it's just a couple years before this, so it makes sense. And honestly, dude, when I was watching that snuff footage, the first thing I thought it was Guinea Pig, man. First thing.
So did I.
And Cannibal Holocaust too, right?
Yeah. Right.
Even before Guinea Pig. So,
but again, this movie is a big homage, a big hodgepodge of just elements from a lot of our favorite movies.
Too.
Yeah, dude,
it's both. It's a ripoff, but it's completely original.
That's what I love about this movie. And I don't even want to use the word ripoff. I'm going to say homage because he's taking all these elements that I love, just what I mentioned before, and made this movie his own thing. He really did. And I think that's why it just stands the test of time too, man. It just works. I mean, for somebody like me, it just hits every it clicks every box. You know what I'm saying?
I have one negative about the movie. Just one.
What's that?
It just doesn't know when to fucking end.
I feel like it does run a little bit too long, but I also feel like that's partly in the middle because once you kill off everybody halfway through the movie, you got to start doing something, right? And it does. Mm-hmm. It slows down for about 15 minutes, and I feel like you probably could have really tighten that up, and I think it would have made the ending feel a little bit quicker if it was 15 minutes shorter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. We got our pacing off. I still love the movie to death. It's just I remember the first time I watched this, and even repeated views, because I watched it, like I said, 15 years ago for the first time. Then I rewatched it when the Blu-ray came out. Then I rewatched it for this show, and I never have a problem watching this one. But there is there's a little lull in it, and even if some of my favorite movies have little lulls in them, so it's not like what I mean. You could trim a little bit of the fat.
It's honestly, my biggest complaint is just that middle. It's about the 50-minute mark to just over an hour. Like there's a point there. I'm just like, okay, yeah. Even though some of those scenes are shot really well, man. Those scenes like in the tunnels and shit, like those are fuck, man. The colors are just awesome, and it just looks amazing. It really does.
Are wet.
I love the TVs, the TV screens, and the fucking. Oh my god, dude, I love
the shot where she fucking flings down the hallway.
But the kills are so cool in this movie. I don't want to give them all away, but
I love the steel beam.
Man, me too, dude. I think that is so inventive.
Cool,
I think one of the craziest ones, dude, is the girl that gets killed at the car with the fucking with the wire. Like the way it happens, dude. If you watch it, like she lifts right up one side, gets dragged across the top, and she
gets raped, and then
it's brutal, man. Yeah, I know she gets raped by the fucking the crazy victim dude himself.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is going on here? It's like ridiculous. Yeah, you can always count on a lot of rape in fucking Asian movies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
out of curiosity, Jeremy, because you kind of alluded that you didn't really care for these movies too much. What did you like think of this one?
I mean, it was probably the next one is interesting. I feel like the second one has a lot of context to it.
I could see
even
you
though it's
liking that
weird.
one. Yeah, a little bit more than this. I mean, honestly, dude, I don't mean to interrupt, but like you're not a big fan of Italian movies in general, but this movie has so much of those elements that I can see.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you feel about body horror and things like that and stuff too much, but
I mean, I feel like it was the most entertaining of the three for sure, I feel like.
Yeah.
But again, these aren't my kind of movies to begin with, so I mean, it's kind of obvious that I probably didn't like it too much, but at the same time, I feel like it has enough going for it that, you know, I at least semi enjoyed watching it.
I feel like this grows on you, Jeremy. Like, if you come back like 5 years later, I think you'll like it more, because I liked it more the second time too.
It definitely does, because I had watched it. Somebody gave this to me as a Patreon review a couple years ago, and I liked it. And then, I
don't remember you reviewing this.
One of the What We Watch. I think it was on a What We Watch show that I reviewed it on.
Wow,
like, probably sent in a clip or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I do not remember.
But so this was the second time I watched. I definitely liked it more this time. I think I get the sense that you two like it a lot more than me. But I think that it is a movie that, like, the more times you see it, you'll probably appreciate more aspects of it. Because, like, even just like the music and the shots and stuff like that, I took in a lot more this time.
I did like the music. I thought it was fucking
music's amazing.
dope.
Yeah, I love the music.
Oh, it's so good, dude. Like, all I could hear was like Deep Red and the Beyond. Like, the music's so good. Like,
even if they reuse it as for 90% of the movie, keep playing it. Play the other 10%.
I know that composer. I actually looked him up. I know he passed away a while ago too. So rest in peace to him too. It seems like we're just rest in peace and everybody on the show. But he was like he played in a band, like some type of not pop band, but he was in a group and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, obviously he was the one that was majorly influenced by, you know, Goblin and those type of Italian groups and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it was the director. I don't know. But whatever it was, it came together perfectly for myself. Music is such a standout.
Sorry, Moodz. You guys listen to the commentaries on these at all?
I threw it on for a second.
I would love.
Did you listen to Carandos from Karate Kill?
No.
He has a very he loves this movie. He has a very insightful commentary. He actually talks about the director. I believe he says he committed suicide, possibly jumping off a bridge. And I think it was where that movie, the Mermaid movie he made, was in a similar location or something like that. So his most popular movie, or his most beloved movie, he kind of committed suicide like
that's
in 2010.
Kind of like
Tony Scott.
Fucking poetic or something.
Yeah, it's not even ironic, is it? It's just like, yeah. I mean, it's done.
I mean, he was found drowned, so it's like they assumed he jumped off the bridge. I mean, he was like 59. So, but anyways, like that commentary is really like you can tell it put a lot of influence on him. This guy also did. I should have mentioned he did The Man with the Scissors from 2005, which made my top 20. I know I liked it a little bit more than everybody else. But the kind of giallo style,
I liked it.
With the guy
he likes giallos.
I'm sure. That's what I said about The Man with the Scissors. I was like, that is super fucking Italian influence, man. Yeah, it's a Japanese Italian movie.
I wish I had more time to listen to commentaries, honestly, because like I turned it on, I was like, man, this would be a great movie to listen to.
Insightful ones.
Right. Well, some of my favorite commentaries are like the Argento ones, like from his films, and hearing like the film historians talk about it.
Troy Howarth.
Troy Howarth, man.
Troy's the best.
It's
those
like almost
some of my favorite commentaries.
That guy freaks me out a little bit, man. He almost knows too much.
Oh, Troy Howarth and Tim Lucas are and Ken Allinger are my favorites for commentaries like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's the dude that wrote Beyond Terror and Nightmare USA? What's his name? Oh, Stephen Thrower. Yeah, Stephen Thrower's great too. Yeah, I love Stephen Thrower. I can listen. I love his voice too. Like watching all the Video Nasty stuff and just hearing him talk about anything. Like I like hearing Stephen Thrower talk about like Jess Franco, because he's like he defends him, but he's like, but the way he defends his films is like, oh yeah, totally right. You know, it's like it's awesome to listen to. But yeah, I know what you're saying. If you get a good historian and know what they're talking about, that insightful shit.
I love historians talking about movies because they'll always point out stuff that you didn't know or notice, and it opens your eyes to the movie, makes you appreciate it way more. And I think that's why, like, I've pretty much listened to most of the Argento Blu-rays commentaries over the years, and like it really kind of like even Stendhal, like I listened to that commentary and I'm like, yeah, it made me like the movie a lot more. But
it
I
can
would
also
just
help
wish I
you
had more
think
time.
differently on movies.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Does he do one for Card Player and Fan with the Opera? Got to listen to those commentaries.
See, Fan of the Opera would be a commentary that I wouldn't. I don't want to listen to somebody
make a movie about cards. I had no other idea, but I wanted it to be about cards.
Argento's not doing the commentary. Somebody else.
I honestly wouldn't want to listen to a commentary on Fan of the Opera. I'd rather do the commentary because that's the type of movie that we do the commentary for. Just be silly with it. It's Fan of the Opera, man.
Like Fan of the Opera.
No, but I do love commentaries where actors or other filmmakers talk about other filmmakers' movies, like Carando or however you say his name. Because I love that Gunwoman movie he did is fucking amazing,
dude. And
him doing the commentary in this movie, like it's just nice to hear another filmmaker talk about a filmmaker he loves. It's just like, oh, that'd be cool.
Wasn't that one of those weird years where I
do like that a lot too.
I love Gunwoman, man. I actually gave it a 10 out of 10. It made my top 10 of whatever year it was. And it was funny because it was like number 3, and I think my number 2 movie was like a 9 out of 10 or some fucking weird Moodz thing to do, right?
Me, Dustin, and Brandon, when we had our old podcast, Shut Up Brandon, I think we gave Gunwoman all a 10 out of 10 too. That was like in 2014.
Yeah, dude, it's good though. It's like super good. I've watched it a few times actually.
Scream Factory put that out, right?
Naked woman killing people.
Yeah,
great,
dude. It's highly entertaining. Like the action is awesome in it, man. Like it's just good.
Well, even the idea that like they surgically implant the guns because she has to break into this warehouse or whatever, and then fucking remove the guns and put them back together. That's fucking so dope. You know
what a role to do, right?
Watch that movie.
It actually made my number 4 that year.
Yeah, I haven't rewatched it since I've been on Letterboxd, so not in the last, since 2018, but I should.
Yeah, it gave you had it at number 3 Moodz. I had it at number 4.
Yeah. Yeah, it blew my shitter out, dude.
KF1 era.
It blew my shitter out, man. I watched it and I was like, holy fuck, that was crazy awesome. Love that.
So I think one of the actresses in this movie was more into like porno films, and she was supposed to be the star of it. I remember from the commentary, but I don't think the director or somebody didn't trust her as being the star, so they switched the roles and had her be in a smaller role. She's probably the one that has sex multiple times.
I think she is.
They over the top sex scene like every other Asian fucking movie.
I'm pretty
those sex scenes are great. More sex scenes in movies. All the nudity from everybody, all the time. That's how every movie should be made.
Right.
I don't know. I got in trouble the last time I talked about that with Clownado, so my mouth shut.
What I say it again, and I'll say it again over and over again. Asian movies are the best to watch, especially when people are going to get naked, because 90% of the people in the movies are fuckable.
Yeah.
Especially the Moodz.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the chick.
Bro.
Yeah, the sex scenes is. I'm pretty sure that's the porno chick. I read that too somewhere. I don't know where the fuck I read that.
I'm not sure which one though. I mean, like a lot of times that's like,
It's actually if you scroll down the first trivia thing, it says Japanese porn stars were used in the porns. It's pluralized, so maybe the guy, maybe one. I mean,
they were good actors. None of the acting sucked.
Oh, that's the only trivia for this movie is Japanese porn stars were used in the filming of this movie. Wow, thank you for that insight. That's amazing.
Beautiful insight. Interesting.
That's awesome. It's fucking sweet, man. But I don't know, man. Without I don't really want to give all the kills and shit away, man. I mean,
the ending feels pretty cool. It feels like creep show-esque.
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil the ending.
Yeah, I know.
I really like not just the reveal in the movie. I think is really damn cool, but I think just one of the maybe second last shots with Hideki. I think that's really cool. Outside the window, I thought that scene was really cool. There's just a lot of really cool scenes in this, man. Could probably just go on about scene by scene all day. Really, just so much good visuals and shit, man. I love this. It's such a great movie. You guys have anything else on it?
I'm good.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to lead? JP, you start.
All right. JP
always has to go first now because he fucked up on the last episode.
Oh my god, dude! I'm surprised I didn't get brought up more. Actually, JP got
I
called
forgot
a
to
legend.
say that.
He got called a legend for having 11.
No, it makes sense. That was a fucking legendary move. I got 11 films.
Apparently,
You guys
legend
got
means
10.
dumb shit.
Just
these
like
days.
Jeremy's the MVP.
Yep. So the
Shut up.
I love the sarcasm in this shit, man. It's like JP's a legend for fucking up. You know, it got me thinking though, man.
It's a matter of perspective.
We have done what we have to have done over 20 something top 10 shows, and we've had 1 million people on these shows, and no one's ever done that. Kind of crazy.
It's because he had to write it down, and JP's retarded when he has to write things down.
I'm kind of a unique guy. I march to the beat of my own drum.
I've written down every single one of my list.
I might just come with top 11s from now on.
And what was the one that did? It was the Night House, right? That got cut.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
See,
After he gave a full feature review on it.
yeah, it's good. It's a good movie. It sucks it didn't make the top 10, but yeah, it is what it is.
All right, JP, go ahead. I just had to say that you have to go first always. So.
Yes, Evil Dead Trap. Love all the influences and the great camera work and stuff like that. Probably not as much as you guys, but that one, the kills are really fun. I wish they were spread out more. I think even when like the characters see the chick with the hook in her face or whatever hanging, that's pretty cool. We didn't mention that, I don't think.
No.
And yeah, I think I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10.
All right, Dave.
Came up at half a point.
Yeah, so I'm giving this an 8.5. I'm a big fan of music, the kills, the opening, the fucking found footage, snuff stuff. I love it. I live for it. 8.5 out of 10.
Jeremy.
All right. Speaking of blowing all the kills in the beginning, I mean, they don't do the toolbox murders where they blow all the kills in the first 15 minutes at least, but
30 minutes.
I guess. But this movie, it's okay. Like I said, it's the first time I've watched it. Maybe I'll enjoy it more if I watch it again. But like I said at the beginning of the show, you know, these kind of movies aren't really my thing, but I still give it a 6.5.
Yeah, the toolbox murders is a good reference, Jeremy, because that is the definition of blowing your wad in the first fucking 15 minutes.
They kill everybody in the first 15 minutes, and then the rest of the movies is like a crime drama.
I like the movie, but if they really didn't have Cameron Mitchell to carry the rest of that movie, they'd be in deep shit.
I think honestly, the best thing about the toolbox murders is the name of the movie.
Cameron Mitchell is great in it, though.
I just watched the forecast. Like
he hams it. From what I remember, he hams it up in that motherfucker, though.
Great.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
right.
Beautiful.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I mean, maybe I'll get I don't know.
He sings Lollipop movie.
Oh, fuck.
Trust me.
Probably the last time we watched it was when we did it on the show.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, and then we had to watch that dreadful remake. Oh my god.
I don't hate the remake.
That Toby Hooper remake is not good, man.
But what about the sequel?
I like it better than the remake. Honestly,
baby.
I don't know objectively if it's a better movie, but I personally liked it better.
Toolbox Murders 2.
Yeah, I remember being kind of silly, but being enjoyable.
22 shots, some boots, and tangents.
Anyways, you're right. So Evil Dead Trap. Yeah, I said what I had to say about it, man. 9 out of 10. I knew I was probably going to come in the highest on this because it literally packs all the elements that give me a boner. So, I mean, honestly, dude, like I'm always prepping. I'm always watching so many movies and shit, and it's not very often where I finish a movie and I'm like, I just want to fucking hit play again, you know? And that's how I felt about this. I was like, oh my god, like it just rekindled my love for this movie. And you know, I don't think it's perfect. I think it is a little bit too long, but you know, it is what it is. It's a great movie. If you like all those things, those directors, all the shit that we said, check this out. It's definitely worth your fucking time. So, and that is The Evil Dead Trap from 1988. Yeah,
needs more rape.
Alright, so moving along here into the 90s, 1992 to be specific, with The Evil Dead Trap 2, directed by Izo Hashimoto. That might be relatively okay. I know I'm always Japanese names are the hardest names for me to say.
Hard, man.
It really is. It's like a mouthful to us Westerners, man. It's just hard to pronounce.
And no one else says it before, so we have nothing to go off of. Like
right.
No one's like other words. Like we hear other people say these Italian words, they'll be like, "Oh, that's Daria." You're like, oh, "Okay, I heard that. I got it." But back in the day, before the internet or hearing any other reviewers or historians, we'd be like, "Who's what?" I'd be like, Bird with the crystal plumage. Like, what? Are you fucking dumb? I'm like, I guess.
You know what's actually funny about that? Because I always find that Lucio Fulci is pronounced differently by everybody. Some people say Lucio, Lucio. Like, there's a million different ways to say it. And, like, what actually is the pronunciation?
I call him the Luch.
I say Lucio Fulci. Lucio Fulci. That's what I say.
His name's the Luch.
The Luch. That works too. It's a lot easier. But
Luch
yeah,
Fu. It's
just like if you watch people's videos or listen to podcasts, everybody says his name differently. And it's never really discussed. You know, it's, oh, I know who you're talking about. It's Fulci. Whatever.
No.
All right. So Evil Dead Trap 2.
The director of this wrote Akira.
Oh, nice.
The anime.
Nice.
Kind of I could see that.
Yeah, me too.
So like we said when we introduced the trilogy, these movies don't really have any continuity. There's similarities, but it's not like a true trilogy or franchise or anything. It's, yeah. So anyways, synopsis. A female projection.
Yeah, that's why actually putting the third one in there actually is like fine, because you know what I mean? It's like the second one doesn't really have anything to do with the first either.
Yeah, and the third one's only named The Evil Dead Trap 3 for the American release, wasn't it? Like it was just kind of thrown in there by the Americans. Yeah, so this one was actually called Evil Dead Trap 2.
Does it have an American release?
No, I think it was just maybe cinema. I don't know.
The international release.
It does say a USA name for it is Evil Dead Trap 3, so I don't know.
I don't know who the fuck.
This one, this one is subtitled Evil Dead Trap 2, colon Hideki. All right, so synopsis. A female projectionist suddenly comes to the self-realization that she is in fact maybe a serial killer responsible for brutally murdering everyone around her. Okay, well, that's
terrible.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
That doesn't even make it. That's terrible.
What about the part where she cuts out all their pussies? Like, come on.
Cuts out their ovaries.
Whatever. Yeah, Jeremy doesn't know the female anatomy, bro.
I mean, why would he know what their fucking ovaries are? It's not like he's getting in there anyways.
Okay.
I gotta look up your ovaries.
Well, why don't we start with Jeremy on this one? Because I feel like this movie right here is a little bit more something that he would enjoy.
Had no idea what the fuck they were trying to say.
Really?
I mean, Dave were talking about it. Like, this is like a Lynch movie. If you watch it like 10 times, it's probably deep as shit, and there's a lot of stuff that's like really interesting.
I came up with my own theory on it.
I have my own theory on it too. So let me hear yours, Dave.
Oh wait, but I think that Hideki is basically a lost child from the male that they're fighting over. He was never born, and that he is somehow magical and wants to be born, and they're kind of fighting over who's going to hold the womb, but he's also controlling them before he's born. He's kind of the spirit of all the aborted or lost children before birth, and he's controlling the heavyset woman to go out and cut out women's ovaries who've had abortions.
Wow. It's crazy, dude. That's what I love about this show, man, because the way I took the movie was a lot different. Like, it's similar.
Hold on. I need to read. So, can you briefly just say that again, Dave? Because I was lost.
A dead baby. Yeah, I know what he was saying.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
The aborted baby of the heavier set chick.
No, he's saying that the male interest in this movie, his wife, got an abortion, and that's
she had a miscarriage.
A miscarriage, and that's who had Dookie, whatever the hell his name is. And now, because the fat chick,
she was haunted from abortion too. So
yeah,
I thought this was her aborted baby.
It could be hers, or it could be his, because I feel like he's connected to that child, because that child's in his home.
Yeah,
so I feel like it was what his kid would have been if he would have had the kid. But somehow survived through It's weird.
Yeah, so, but it was a miscarriage, though, right? Because it's not like a revenge thing.
No.
Well, I think he tries to represent and speak up for the children that have died. It's fucking weird. I'm not sure what they're going
okay. So the way I saw this movie, the way I see this movie is pretty much different. But I could be completely wrong. I mean, this is just opinions, but the way I see this movie is purely symbolic. The baby Hideki she's not actually being haunted by a ghost. It's basically just, it's symbolism, right? It's there. We're seeing this movie. We're seeing this movie through Aki's eyes, right? So we're not necessarily we're seeing what's going on through her eyes, but let's face it, she's a little bit messed up here. It is implied So it is implied that she has had an abortion in the past. And I feel like this is symbolic to that. You know, Hideki represents, you know, the pain and the grief and the anger that comes along with what happened to her. And when I got thinking about it, I was thinking that, you know, she obviously didn't get pregnant by choice. I'm assuming that she probably got raped. Let's go back to the rape here.
Well, I would assume so because she has self-confidence.
Well, okay,
issues.
so that's where the sexuality thing comes into play, and this is where the anger issues come in too, and this is why she's a little bit crazy. But again, going back to the image of Hideki is symbolic. She has this abortion because she is probably raped. She's the victim of rape, and she's not going to have a rape child, right? So she has it.
What is the evidence of the rape thing?
Well, she's sexually kind of
she's
closet, but she goes out at night.
Right.
Which I thought she was being controlled, and I didn't understand if she was a killer before, or maybe the guilt, or that presence of Hideki was controlling her to do it, because the other woman goes crazy too. The other one goes crazy too.
Maybe when he came up to her booth maybe she's been pushing back the memories for so long that when he finally came up,
it could be either.
Booth,
I got the vibe that it had been happening.
Go ahead.
For a while, like that she had been doing this for a while.
Yeah, but
because don't they talk about like that? There's been like multiple murders,
but they never. She could have always been seeing Hideki.
That's the thing. I think that, like I said, Hideki is.
No, that's what I mean. I think that this has like been influencing her for a long time.
Yeah, we're seeing the movie.
She's definitely targeting beautiful women, right? Who probably had abortions though.
Right.
At the same time.
Right.
Well, she's attacking whores.
She's cutting out their ovaries.
I think the abortion thing is definitely what.
Yeah, and well, that's it. Okay, so that leads into where I was getting at. So she obviously is, super sexually angry, frustrated and stuff because of what happened to her. She's dealing with the abortion because obviously maybe before she goes insane, she's like, kind of maybe even against that kind of thing, but she's not going to have this rape child. So now she's angry. Hideki is symbolic. She's not being haunted. She's seeing this thing. It's not driving her to do things in my mind. But then you can see, like, as the narrative progresses, like, she is very sexually frustrated and has issues with it towards men and women. And that's where I think it leads into her, the whole abortion thing, hence ripping out the ovaries and killing sex workers. I think most of them are hookers and things like that, right? That are part of the sex trade, what plays into the sexuality part of it and her anger.
What do you connect it to with her friend, though?
Okay,
because her friend's clearly batshit crazy too.
Well, I think there's something showing both of them.
Well, the thing is, I think okay. See, the way I see it with her friend, I see the movie through. You got to remember, I'm watching the movie through Aki's eyes, and I don't think the friend is actually that bad. I think that Aki is creating this shit in her fucking mind.
But she wasn't there in the scene where she's like getting turned on by the fucking.
She also wasn't there when the father was, the male was home and Aki was in the house. The child was in the house. So she's imagining all that?
Well, the weird thing is that I just can't see some of the things that her friend is... See, okay, so Aki has obviously got issues with male and female sexual and things like that, and her friend is trying to set her up with her fucking boyfriend that she's obviously pregnant with this dude's child and stuff.
Cheating on his wife.
Yeah, and see, like, I think that in reality... her friend wouldn't really want to be doing that, considering she knows that her friend Aki has had these issues in the past. She's had abortion. She's got problems. Like you can.
Yeah, but I don't think she's really her friend, man. She's
maybe not.
But
that's what I see. That's why I see from Aki's point of view. She's
like when they walk into the party.
She seems like a nymphomaniac too, though.
She's seeing the world from the worst point of view. Like she thinks her friend's fucking evil because she may in fact probably is pregnant, but is she really trying to set her up with her friend and kind of rub it in? At one point, she literally starts rubbing it in her face that she's pregnant, go have sex with this guy and blah blah blah, and like her friend must know that she's having these sexual issues and stuff. Like it just seems so mean spirited, but I think we're seeing that through Aki's eyes. I don't think the friend, hence the reporter, is really doing that shit. I think this is what's the driving force is the craziness that Aki has in her. And
the only thing that throws me off on that, Moodz, like I would agree with you on that, because I can't fucking differ. You know what I mean? It's almost impossible to prove their fucking nonsense.
Right.
But I like the nonsense. Yeah, I mean, it's getting.
It is. It's like an interesting. It's
the only thing that really throws me off is there's one point where the boyfriend, the husband who's cheating on his wife. I wish I remember this fucker's name because it would make it a lot easier. Him and his wife are at home, and she's like, Hideki came back, and it's only them. And the kid's sitting there as if that child is connected to them somehow, unless they're doing something completely ridiculous where they're having her imagine something that she's not there for. which is the only thing that those. Because I feel like Hidaki, maybe they're going for the first Evil Dead trap where there's a 2-in-1 deal, where Hidaki is inside of him waiting to be born, and he's maybe something that was supposed to be born, but he never was.
Right.
This movie's way deeper than it has any means to.
It's a good movie.
I will say this.
It's like an anti-abortion message, right?
I don't know about that.
It seems like it, right?
I think movies that do
you
that.
think it's you think it's pro-life?
Abortion. It's just a character in there that does that. Like, people assume that Red Christmas was anti-abortion. The director said so himself. He said it's not. It's not pro or anti. It's just a story that is really disturbing that I wanted to tell, and it is. It's a fucked up situation. Like, I don't think
it could be anti-abortion too.
And you could take it as that. You could. You really could.
Right.
That the child should be born. But if the child's controlling you to cut out hookers' ovaries. Sorry for the word hooker, prostitutes or whatever you want to call them, their ovaries, then maybe that child shouldn't have been born. So maybe it's a pro fucking abortion story. You know what I'm saying? You can look at it any way. People will use what they want, but I don't.
Yeah, but typically in horror movies, whenever something is punishing people, it's usually because
some historian wrote it. Some historian wrote it. Like, that's why they're like, you had sex in a slasher, now you got to die. And Sean Cunningham, like, what are you talking about? I was trying to make $1.
I mean, that theory does make sense in the reality of, if this kid was aborted and he's pissed off, so now he's going to start controlling people to do some crazy shit like ripping out ovaries and just making it so, it's that anger issue. Like,
yeah, I don't think Moodz is wrong either. I do think there is a certain point of the story told by her, and I'm not willing to go one way or another on this.
I like your theory, Dave, honestly, because I didn't really know what the fuck.
Well, no, Moodz theory, I actually read online. Somebody else wrote a Moodz theory too, and they were saying it's all by her point.
Really?
They had this elaborate thing.
Well, see,
and I read that, and I was like, I don't buy that because of this. So I was like, I tried to make up my own. Like, either way.
Really? Okay, I'll tell you the point. I'll tell you the point where I started to realize, and I was probably halfway in the film, but remember the opening scene where Aki and her friend, I can't remember the fucking friend's name, but anyways, they're sitting down to lunch and stuff, and the friends.
I don't know how you know anybody's name.
Well, I just remember Aki because she was the overweight girl, but anyways, which I thought was an interesting lead because, that's kind of.
She's a great lead.
I loved that.
The fact that she's not attractive and stuff. Yeah, I think that's really interesting. But, the scene where she's sitting down to lunch with her friend, and her friend is eating that soft-boiled egg, and she breaks the top open, and she clearly sees a fucking dead chicken fetus in there.
Yeah, but that's a thing.
Yeah, but I thought that might have been a balut, though.
It is.
Some people do eat those.
Yeah, that's a balut.
No, but her friend doesn't even react to it.
Like,
her friend, okay, this is my point. Her friend doesn't even react to that being in there, and we're seeing this through Aki's eyes.
Yeah, but
she
it
is
could be a
seeing
balut.
this.
That's why.
Well, they have these things where,
that's
like,
where
they
I
do
took
ducks.
it right away.
They have ducks in there, but still, they wouldn't have made it that meal if they weren't trying to say something at the same time. They would have just had it be an egg. They were definitely showing the fetus within the egg to say something.
Well, that's why I came to the conclusion that it has to be through. We're seeing this film through Aki's perception of reality, which is not necessarily reality, right? She's seeing shit for how it is in her mind.
She's not right either. She's not right either because we see her go out and she's all fucked up. She tries to have the sexual relation. Right. She almost gets raped.
That's my point.
Like, she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem to understand that she's going out and committing these murders, which leads to, I know we've been talking a lot about the story, but aesthetically, this movie looks fucking awesome. Like the movie theater stuff, the neon lights, the wet pavement, all that shit. Like, I put the streets are slick with rain, and the only thing to light the darkness are neon signs and street lights. It looks fucking good.
Well, even when dude goes out of the house, and like there's like the out of the movie theater, I forget where it was, but there's like neon lights in the background and shit. And
it's a good looking movie, man.
No, it really is. Shit. So what else? You read similar to my theory on that. What else did they say on that?
Oh shit! Jeremy sent me it, and they were basically saying it's through her eyes, like through her story and stuff like that.
It's funny
that you're seeing it through her.
That's totally crazy, man, because that's totally how I saw it. And
there's only two ways to see it, right?
Yeah,
we got to see it through her eyes, or we got to see it through some sort of.
And I'm telling you,
evil, born baby's eyes.
Right. I wasn't sure which way I was going to be going on this but then I got about halfway in the film and then I remembered the soft egg with the chicken, and I'm like, dude, that wasn't there. She saw that shit through her eyes, and it was again going back to the fetus thing and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, we're seeing this movie through her eyes 100%, because there's a lot of other things that I can't really remember everything, but there's little small anecdotes in the film. I'm like, dude, that's not the reality. We're seeing this shit from her reality, which is bunked. It's bunked right now. She's fucked in the head, dude.
There's that weird point where all three of the women that are involved with that man are just hanging out, and like like, is she crippled? I feel like she's sitting down, like she has no legs or something. They're all just sitting there on the fucking docks talking. I'm like, why are they talking?
Well,
what do you think? I don't fucking know why they're together.
The other scene that really kind of throws me off too, and that I picture it through Aki's eyes, is the scene where they're at that party and they're having their Coke and candy party. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Coke and candy. It's like
never had a Coke and candy party.
Sorry,
it's a demon's party.
So the scene where obviously the dude takes her, they leave together and stuff like that, and it's just so natural. But like this guy's involved with this other girl, and I'm like, why the fuck is it just acceptable that he's getting up with Aki and leaving, even though he's going to take her home? But like when you see people leave together, shit usually goes down and stuff. But it's totally acceptable, and we know that the friend is like, she's pregnant and stuff. And I'm like, but it seems so acceptable because it's not seen through her fucking. We're seeing it through her eyes right now. She's picturing this.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about that though. Is she clearly is some sort of nympho sex addict? Because she even asked him. She's like, "Did you hook up with Aki yet?"
Yeah, but he's the one pursuing her, but he's the one pursuing her in that. That's why I think it's in her mind. He's like, I think there's motivations for her in that. Right? Because if she was pursuing him, I probably would look at it a little bit differently. But he's the one pursuing her and takes her home. Right? There is scenes where she...
Right, but...
Yeah.
I feel like he may be driving them crazy. I feel like he may be responsible at the same time. That's why I'm going with that whole 2-is-1 deal from the first movie.
Right.
Like, I feel like he might be the one controlling them. There might be something evil within him, like that baby, but maybe he's just playing on these women's fucked up past or something. Like I said, I'm not.
I can't explain away the scene. I can't explain away the scene with the boy and him though. Man. Like I think that's in her mind, but I mean, again, you could explain it away different ways too. But I was confused by that scene also. I didn't really know how to take it because I'm like, well, fuck, man, we're seeing this from a vantage point where she's not there, but. It's almost confusing when you look at it.
I need to watch.
Here's my thing. I don't think the girl's hooking up with this dude who's married. I don't think she really cares that he's hooking up with other chicks. You know what I mean?
Well, the model,
it's like not monogamous.
The video lady wants to hook her friend up supposedly with him so she can break out of her shell.
Right.
That's what she's saying, but
But she's also being mean about it though too. Like she's rubbing it in her face. Like she's being trash bagged, and I'm like, is she really being like this, or is just Aki like seeing her as this evil fucking bitch? Because it seems so abnormal that if you're having a kid with somebody and you're just like, well, my dude, go fuck her, go do this and that. It's just not normal. Even
want the kid, or is she just using that because she says I'll take care of it?
Well, also,
no, she wants the kid.
If the guy's wife doesn't care because she can't have a child, so she wants almost him to impregnate someone else so they can have the child. Right. It's fucking strange.
Right, I know. I thought
because she doesn't seem to give a fuck. The wife, she doesn't care that he's sleeping around.
Yeah. That's why I see it so differently, because it just doesn't seem like that character should be that fucking like insanely mean. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's
here's the thing though, but she's like the fact that they bring home the fucking videotape of like the cut open girl and shit, and she's like all into it. Like to me, that shows that there's something wrong with this person.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then also going back to that party, somebody says like, you cut the best lines. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Cut the best lines. You just fucking put it in a line. What like
JP,
but that's just a different, that's just a cultural thing, man. That's that's a translation. That's a translation thing, don't you? I know it comes off it sounds very corny to us. Like, you cut the best, like nobody would ever say that if you're at a Coke and Candy, but like, you cut the best lines. It's like
Coke and Candy.
Really? Well, they literally like are dumping.
I know.
That table, by the way, was kick ass. It was like a fish tank table. Did you notice that? It was fucking cool, man.
There was also some kind of fish tank in the background too. Yeah. It was like a big wall thing.
I love that idea for a table, for a coffee table that actually is a fish tank. Is fucking cool, man. I was like, that
is cool.
Before too.
Yeah, very neat.
The gore in this movie is pretty nasty too. Like again, it does the nasty video footage through the camera's lens, which when you see that body laying on the fucking rocks and it's fucking like all its private parts are all cut out and the ovaries are hanging out, it's like, that's fucking disgusting. Like a lot of dead bodies and wet places. And I love when she's like a big girl, so when she's in that red dress chasing people down the street with a fucking knife, I'm like, that's pretty scary looking. I mean, you don't really see that.
She goes to that dumpy bar. Like, what's up with that bar? It looks like it's like a bag of an abandoned bus or something. Like,
everything looks like it got flooded. This whole fucking movie looks like it's fucking.
It's very dingy, but it makes sense because it almost feels like it's in a nightmare kind of state, and the cinematography goes very well with the way the movie's filthy. It's very, very filthy. Like the scene where Aki's in the alleyway getting molested by those two fucking dudes. It's just filthy feeling. Like it's literally
people.
Yeah, and it's that's the thing.
She egg them on, though?
It's filthy, but I'm just saying, like the kill scenes are
she
filthy.
Deserved it, Jeremy?
Dude, I was gonna say that's a classic. Like, well, she shouldn't have been walking around in a
She
short
shouldn't have been wearing
skirt
that red dress.
out.
Yeah, but I feel like the
But,
cinematography matches everything that we're seeing in this, man. It feels a little bit dirty and stuff, but it's awesome. But then, you know, you get these dirty ass, like literally filthy scenes, like in alleys and you know, molestation and fucking nasty gore and shit. And it's shot in low lights. And yeah, man, it's just, it's an uneasy type film that's very mind fucking. That's the way I saw it, dude. I just couldn't think of anything else. And I ran through so many different ideas in my mind, and I'm like, I'm sticking with this one because this is the one I feel most confident with. But there's things I can't explain.
I wouldn't die on a hill for any how this movie's explained. You know what I mean? Somebody said that, I'd be like, maybe. I don't fucking know.
Is there a commentary on?
I don't know if it's right.
Is there a commentary on the DVD? Because I didn't even look. I watched the high def one that you sent, but I didn't check my DVD.
I didn't release for sure.
I didn't check the DVD.
Put it out.
Yeah,
I would like
put
to
out
see
a DVD,
Blu-ray
but there's a
release.
Blu-ray around.
I swear to
Well,
God,
there needs to be another
dude.
Blu-ray.
I'd obviously seen this movie before because I've owned it forever, but it was like watching it for the first time. I swear I watched this movie and then forgot all about it because I probably didn't get it for a fucking minute when I first watched it. I was probably so confused I just forgot about it, right? And I was like watching this going, I remember certain parts. I remember the scenes of Aki in the theater and when she's, you know, doing some chops with the film and stuff. I remember things like that because anything set in theaters always seems to stick with me. But as for the rest of the movie, dude, I was like, what the fuck? It was like first time watch.
I do want to just bring this up because we briefly glossed over it, but I loved the casting of this chick because,
me too.
For one, she doesn't she actually fits the part like perfect of this like reserved like girl who you know works as a projection person, but also like typically anytime in this role you would see some, you know,
attractive
super
woman,
hot like skinny girl.
Acting awkward, like, you know, and then she's like a 10 out of 10 and she's like,
right, it's like if you just took your glasses off, you'd be fucking the most popular girl in song.
Well, that's reality.
What is that song? Sixpence None would play like, there she goes, take your glasses off.
But that just seems like reality because these type of things happen to everybody and the casting is perfect in that. But the irony is that the way I perceive the movie is it's, you know, we're seeing it through her fucked up reality, which actually isn't the real reality. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. We're like so expecting to see a certain thing that when the movie first started, even though we spent some time with her, I didn't think she was the main character for a little bit. And I was like, oh, this is actually the main character. I was like, this is interesting because she didn't look like a typical like lead in a film. And
it's kind of like the Boneyard, right? Where the Boneyard has like untypical leads and it's refreshing.
Yeah. And
especially when you're dealing with sexuality and things like that too, right? Like, you don't expect this to be the lead for sure.
And I give her props too because she did like a nude scene and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's not typically what you see. And I really like that about it. But overall, like to me, I just thought this movie was like super fascinating. I loved the projection booth job. She almost looked, I thought she was like young at first. Like she looked very young. Like I thought she was like a teen.
I think it's the hat. When you put hats on
she
girls,
has like,
they always look
almost
young.
like a tomboyish thing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I thought she was like really young at first, but as the movie went on, I realized that she was supposed to be a little bit older. I didn't really understand how there's a scene in the if it's her manager or something, but he brings up like the abortion thing too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, because he says you got an abortion or something like that. I'm like, how does everybody know this?
Who would say something like that?
And right. And I'm,
Shut the fuck up, dude.
It could be it could be a cultural thing too. I mean, it's so normal over here. Like we hear like women have them like all the time, but I think it's a little bit different over there. Like it's
nobody brings it up.
It's more of a bigger deal. Yeah, you're right. Like in a social situation, you're probably not going to be like, yeah, so you know, you want to talk about your abortion you had there?
Or they could be like, hey, remember that time you tried to kill yourself? Like,
yeah, like
you were in the hospital for like 6 months. It's like, dude,
I think it's a little bit more.
What are you doing?
I think it's a little bit more taboo, but I think it's also, again, you know, even going back to my theory on the film, it's like you know, again, we're seeing it through her eyes, and you know, that she's picturing, like, I mean, that's an example of something that you probably wouldn't see or hear in a normal reality of someone just being like, yo, you know, I heard you had an abortion. Like, no one just brings that shit up. Like, it just doesn't fucking. But so in her eyes, like, she's just so fucked up. She's imagining this guy's like, oh, you're talking about my abortion. Well, fuck you. I'm gonna go rip out your, you know, your fucking sister's ovaries, kind of thing, right? But
I also don't know what the status of abortions are in Japan, or even this time in Japan either. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's like looked down upon, if it's like, you know, very pro-choice. Like, I don't know what it, you know,
honestly,
I don't know now, but in 1992, I have absolutely no idea either.
No, I don't have a clue. No.
Yeah, so that's an interesting.
I mean, it's
aspect.
still up for debate around here too, because honestly, it's more socially acceptable to, you know, to have, you know, pro-choice, whatever, you do what the fuck you want to do. But then there's the other side of the coin. Then there's still people that are constantly protesting, you know, the anti-abortion thing. And
aren't you proud of me, JP? I kept my mouth shut.
you know, it's you know, I fucking drive by the hospital all the time, and I still see people out there. It's minus 30. People are still standing out there. It's like, what the fuck, man? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
proud of
fucking
me.
crazy.
It is.
They're gonna be self-aborting their fucking balls if they don't get inside.
It's literally insane.
Freeze
I
their
know.
nuts off.
I don't want to get into the politics of abortion, but
Right.
Absolutely not.
but the boy, yeah, no, I don't want to start that conversation because I get fucking heated about it.
JP
Man.
in an uncomfortable place. Come on.
But
I'm just joking. I love you, buddy.
yeah, no, this is definitely an interesting entry into this trilogy, man. You know, it has elements of the first one, but it's totally its own thing. It's a total mind fuck of a movie. It's interesting. I'll give it that. Is it overly entertaining? Yes, no. and no. I mean,
think it is.
there's
I
point.
like
think
it.
it's pretty.
There's
damn
point. I think
entertaining.
it's more interesting than entertaining because it really it fucked with my head. After I watched
it might be a little bit too long as well, though.
Yeah, I was going to watch
Guys.
the third one right after this one, but I was so mind-boggled by it. I just sat there and thought about it forever. And I was like going through my notes, which I haven't even opened up once. And I was going through my notes and I was making new notes and I was like, okay, this and this, connect this, you know, do that. And okay, this is my theory on it. You know, it's like, and if a movie does that, you know, it's doing something right? Getting you thinking.
Well, if you can get us to talk about it, it's worth fucking watching, right? I mean, there's so many movies that we watch. Like, let's look at Hell Night, which we all enjoyed, but we didn't have shit to say about it. Like, yeah, that one guy dies, and then remember what happens to his body? No, do you? I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, it's a fine movie, but sometimes there's not much.
It all
to
comes
say.
down
like,
to
this
Linda
one,
Blair
I mean,
not showing her titties in that movie. That's a big mistake.
Right, yeah.
The one last thing I have to say about this movie is that fucking end fight scene is awesome. It's amazing. It's bonkers, fucking
It's
over the top.
So
and
over the top.
nonsense.
It's so over
It
the top.
reminds me of ID. Remember that movie ID we watched?
Yeah, yeah.
Id, not ID. Id. Fucking the guy, the lady who did Organ. She directed it. That was fucking bonkers.
Organ
That-
made
just
my
like that.
top 10 in 96, actually.
I need to watch that.
Organ
one
is
still, but,
batshit, dude. I remember Brandon, he
It
didn't really
almost
care
made
for
my
it.
list.
Yeah, he's
It
like,
made my top 25.
I think Oregon was actually too. I think he said it was too gross. It was too fucking gory and shit for him.
Who said that?
Yeah,
Brandon did. That was the reason why I didn't really care for it. It was too insane. Like, it was really gory and nasty.
I mean, if it's anything like
stomach turning.
that
gore.
movie's gross as
like,
fuck.
yeah, it's gross. It's like stomach turning gore.
Yeah, it was gross. I was
Yeah.
like, this is fucking gross. But I'm gross. I like
Is a
gross.
fetus
shit.
gross?
I live for the gross.
Yeah, Fetus is pretty fucking nasty, man.
Pretty
That
gross.
movie's nasty.
Brian
There's-
Paul's movies are all gross.
I love
There's
Brian
certain
Paul.
gross shit that I can handle and other gross shit that I can't.
Well, there's certain
I can't
things
handle
like,
puke anymore. I can't do puke.
I can't handle when people
Puke
suck on
doesn't
someone's
really
toes.
bother me.
That's the grossest thing in the world, dude.
I don't like poop
And,
for real
and,
in
and
movies.
pus. You can't do pus
No,
either.
pus and anything to do with feet. And I don't like eye, which is ironic. I know it's because I'm a
Eye
huge Fulci
stuff
fan. Eye stuff
gets
drives me
worse.
nuts. It makes me just, it makes my
I can't
fucking, my
I
stomach
can't
just
do
curls.
people's teeth get people's
Oh,
teeth.
Teeth are bad.
People rubbing food on themselves. I can't
You know,
stand it. Like,
I
if there's
never-
a movie of somebody's naked
Oh.
and spreading mustard, I'll throw up. I
Dude,
fucking hate it.
Speaking of that, dude, the
Stand it.
fucking sex scene with the hamburger and they were kissing was so fucking disgusting to me.
In which part in this one?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
What do you mean you don't remember that?
I know. I feel like I'm in dirty work. It's like, you know what prisoners are most famous? I never heard of that. Like, I don't remember
Dude, the friend goes to visit dude in his office and have sex with him after she like gets all turned on from seeing
She
the
brings
dead
him a
body.
hamburger. Oh yeah, yeah.
She's eating a fucking hamburger
yeah,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
time.
part-
He's like
the whole
kissing
time.
her
That's
and
right.
stuff in the mouth.
Right.
I
It's
don't remember
fucking
that.
disgusting.
I
That is gross.
must have fucking blacked that hamburger shit out because I don't like that.
I'm not a
food
big
and sex
food-
is
food-
Yeah,
food
no,
and sex
food
is
and
nasty.
sex literally bugs me so much. It's
I don't
so
even
fucking
I don't even
nasty.
like the bone if I'm full. I'm like I know how like sharks after they like have a feeding frenzy they like to have sex. That's the only time they have sex. I'm the opposite.
Oh
Like
yeah,
I want
me too.
to have sex on an empty stomach. Fucking-
Right.
feel all bloated and shit.
yeah, let's bone before dinner. I don't feel sexy. I don't feel sexy after eating.
Right. Yeah,
But you like
feel
to get
you're gonna
naked in
throw up
movies,
or
so-
something.
I don't like it. They pay me for the most part.
For the
Fucking no one
most-
likes to get naked in movies. I'm just stupid enough to say yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, is this it for this one?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone else has anything they want to say it. Or then we can just get to ratings. Dave, you be up.
I'm going to give it a 7.5. I mean, this one could require multiple viewings, and I could dig deeper. I still don't know 100% what the fuck is going on, but I kind of do. I like it. Good lead, good visuals, good gore, nasty. Like I said, being that point of view, the voyeurism through the camera is good. I love that shit. I'm like I said, Hisayasu Sato is one of my favorites, and that's all he lives for is just weird voyeurism through technology. So yeah, I like this one. 7.5.
Right. Jeremy.
Yeah, I feel like if you watch this movie like 5 more times, you probably get a lot more out of it. It's a pretty deep movie once you think about it, like we've talked about. So I give it the same rating as the last one, 6.5.
You think you gave the last one 6, didn't you?
No,
Okay.
6.5.
All right. Yeah, I think it's solid. It fucks with your head a little bit. No surprise that everyone agreed with Dave on his theory. That doesn't surprise me one bit.
I don't even agree with. I don't fucking know.
It's not even that I'm being like, that I'm on the fucking one-way street here. That's what I was totally seeing, and I it all stems
Well,
from
I was
that
amazed
fucking
because
egg
somebody
scene.
else wrote that paper about it. Like, so
It's
you're not the
just
only
that-
one.
It's
You're not
just
the only
that
one.
I gotta read
The
this.
only
I have to
thing
read
that
this
fucks
paper,
with
Dave.
me
I want to
and-
see what else they have in there, because maybe they can elaborate on my thoughts that I can't fully elaborate. But like I said, the scene that really sold that idea for me is the fucking egg scene, because I'm like, that shit is not there. That's through her eyes. She's seeing that shit. Hence the egg is, it's obviously symbolism for, obviously the kids, right? And yeah, so
Yeah, but what if it was a balloon?
I don't think so.
That's the one with the actual chicken or the fetus in
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
still the same thing. They wouldn't have shown that otherwise.
No, I'm saying that he's saying that the woman would have reacted to it being in there, but if it's supposed to be in there, why would she
Yeah.
react?
I know some people do order weird stuff.
No, I know.
Well,
I get what
if
you're
it's an
saying.
Asian. Well, I think it's more Filipino.
I get what you're saying.
I don't know if it's Japanese or not.
But I just think it's not, it can't be coincidental at that point. I mean, we're dealing with the symbolism, in my opinion, and that's just kind of screaming at you right there. I mean, the egg, the dead fetus in there, her abortion.
Just because it's intentional and symbolic doesn't mean they don't cancel each other out. You know what I mean? It could still be that it's supposed to be there and still be symbolic.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I'm seeing it as, that it's not there. That's just the way I'm seeing it. And that she's seeing that because that's what she's seeing, right? So it's solid. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I might have enjoyed this watch more than the first Evil Dead Trap, even though I think the first Evil Dead Trap is a stronger movie, but I'd already seen that one. This was like really interesting, and I was just very curious to see where it was going. And right away, like the fact that the lead was like a projectionist, and there was this like weird like sexual undertones to things, and the violence and the sex stuff was mixing. I was like, oh, this is like different. Like, where's this film gonna go? So I was like really just drawn into it. Especially just with the lead and just being it just felt like a different movie. And honestly, not typical of what I've seen from like the Japanese films I've seen either. It's very unique. Like I haven't seen anything like this. So I was really into it, and I'm gonna give it a 7 though. I think that it could go higher on a rewatch because I was more confused than both of you two on what the hell was going on.
I'm glad that we had different ideas on it, man. That made for a good conversation. I wasn't sure how this was going to go.
I wasn't willing to argue so much about it because, like I said, like this is required. I'd have to watch it again, and then maybe again.
Right. It doesn't feel like a movie where it's like this is the right answer and this is the wrong answer. You know what I mean? It's like here's my theory. Here's my theory. Let's throw them on the table and learn from it.
Yeah. See, in my conceited mind, I thought my theory was going to be right, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh yeah, right. You're right, Moodz. We got your back." No, I'm just.
Well, the only problem I have with your theory is just that it doesn't like. There's too many scenes of her not in the scene. That I'm like, would that make sense for her to imagine this stuff up? That's
where it becomes holy for me too. But there's also scenes where the scene where the dude and the kids in there and stuff. I think there's also something to do with maybe the fact
it could be like a mixture of both. Dude.
Yeah, like maybe he was dealing with. There might be something maybe with one of his ex-wife had something too. I don't know. I have no idea. It's really confusing. It's confusing, but I'd like to hear people's theories on the movie if you have one. If you've seen it.
People only want to talk about franchise movies, the big franchise movies.
This is a franchise movie.
No, I get what he's saying.
About Friday, Nightmare, Halloween, Leatherface.
Yeah.
That's all they want to talk about.
You cannot mention.
Well, those are fun to talk about too, but
it doesn't have 87,000 copies like Friday does, so
Well, I would like to see this get a Blu-ray treatment from Unearthed. Because I would definitely.
I wouldn't be surprised if it came.
I enjoyed it.
They got the rights to the first one, so they might as well put out the second one. Because I assume they still have the rights.
Get a damn commentary on there too.
They might not have the rights anymore because I did notice that the DVD is like long out of print now, so they might have lost the rights. I have no idea. So.
Still find it for cheap though.
But you never. Oh yeah, I'm just saying that if it's out of print, it usually means that they don't have the rights anymore. It's usually a rights thing. So I got the DVD for dirt fucking cheap back in the day.
Oh, it was
like
cheap
$5.
forever. It was
$5.
They were like $3. They were like, here, you bought $5 for the stuff. Here's your 6 free copies of Evil Dead Trap 2.
Right. Yeah. Well, the Snaps one was always
sat on my shelf for like
expensive.
20 years, Moodz. I finally watched it.
It's crazy.
That's what I love about this show, though, especially like the top 10 shows, like the retro ones, because there's so many titles I own that are just fucking sitting on shelves forever, and the show gives you an excuse to watch that shit.
Well, you know what's funny, dude? Like when I was doing my update, it seemed like every movie I was showing off, I'm like, well, I watched this for prep in this top 10 show that we did. It was like every fucking movie I showed was like from some specific year that we did a top 10 for. I'm like, this is so weird. And I never clued in until I was doing the update, and I was like, this is strange. Very odd. I mean, Saturn's Core releasing 394 films in the last like month or two. Like that was bizarre.
And they got another one coming too. So Sinister.
Weird. Yeah, Sinister, which I actually do have a DVD copy of.
Me too, but I'm going to get the Blu-ray. Yeah, you know why?
I've got it coming too, but Savage Harvest
because
is
you're
another
a fucking
one.
Rich asshole jock.
Stop! Don't say that. That's over.
Savage Harvest is awesome. So
I said I was sorry and I meant it.
All right, so that is going to conclude Evil Dead Trap 2 from 1992. Yeah. 22 shots. All right, so getting into the third film here in the Evil Dead Trap trilogy from 1993, titled The Brutal Insanity of Love, also known as The Evil Dead Trap 3. All right, so this one is directed by Toshihiro Ikeda, again. And we got a quick little synopsis here. A policewoman is investigating the apparent suicide of a college co-ed. The prime suspects include the girl's professor, who may have been having an affair with her and the professor's wife, who frequents lesbian bars. I always love it.
Sounds like it. Sounds like a giallo to me.
I love how people write. It's always fun.
I was shocked to see like how much of a giallo this was.
This is
because I didn't even know that it was. I didn't know anything about this film. I didn't know that you guys thought that either. But I was watching it and I was just like, oh, this is like a fucking giallo.
Yep.
It pretty much is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like 90s Japanese, and and some older Italian thrillers for sure.
Yeah, it's kind
Well,
of.
I think like the police procedural aspect of it,
Yeah, big time.
and like the ending reveal feels very giallo to me.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it feels more like Brian De Palma too,
Well, that's a good.
which is
comparison.
giallo-like.
Yeah, I mean, well, De Palma, like, yeah, where do you think he got his? Well, I wouldn't say
Not
style,
according
but-
to him.
Yeah, right. It's such bullshit, dude. That's bullshit. You can
I've
see
never
that.
seen an
Yeah,
Argento movie.
I don't like. That's bullshit, dude. How have you never seen an Argento movie, man?
You know, he went to the theater all the time. I mean,
That's-
William Lustig saw all of them.
Argento's
How
too
did you not?
popular to not have seen. You know, even when he was
He
like,
saw Deep Red. He saw Deep Red, no doubt.
yeah, and you probably saw Plumage. You probably saw all the fucking giallos that influenced him to make the movies that he claims that he wasn't influenced by. Right. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this one?
Oh fuck.
It's fine.
It has the
about
same
it.
lead actor from Part 2.
Okay, so I just sorry to interrupt, but dude, I'm watching this movie, and which is the first time watch for me, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like, I've seen this movie before. Dave, what movie? Like, I swear, there's another movie that's like identical to this. Like, I just remember like torsos,
Dressed to Kill.
like torsos floating around, and then like just the way the procedural goes
Slice?
through in this movie.
Have you ever seen Slice?
But even the reveal of like, well, not the reveal, but like how like the lead professor / fencing teacher, whatever, has this apparent wife that is, you know, something that's happened to her, and she's secluded into her house for like, there's all these elements in this movie that I'm like, the whole time I'm watching this, I felt like I was having deja vu for 100 minutes.
Did you watch the Thai thriller? I think it's Thai Slice. There's a lot of torsos and suitcases in that movie. Kind of read like.
Yeah.
I feel like this
Yeah.
movie is very like not negative, like just it's kind of generic in some ways.
generic.
I think that I didn't fucking get the reveal that.
Oh my God, dude. Okay.
Not much
That's one of the
either.
biggest
I call
problems.
that reveal. It was one of two things. It had to be. That's all there was to it.
Okay, this thing drives me fucking nuts. I gotta say, man, like, this is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to like reveal. And filmmakers have this thing where they, you know, they have a reveal and then they have the person arguing against it, and then it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, it goes on for like 10 minutes. Like, no, I did this. No, I didn't do this. No, I did this. I did this. No, you did. You did this. You know what? Fucking jeez. What are we? 4 years old? Like, my dad's better than your dad. It's not hard. Fuck.
Dude, I'll tell you this.
Honestly,
too.
dude, the ending of this movie drove me nuts, and I won't lie. I thought this movie was shot pretty well. It's not even a bad movie. I just
How
thought it
could
was.
you see it?
It's really
The picture quality was awful.
Yeah, the picture.
The picture quality
No,
is so fucking
but what-
trash.
but what I
bro.
meant on this,
I was like,
I
I
like-
can't tell if this is a dream sequence or the fucking picture's just supposed to look.
Well,
It
okay,
looked
let me
like if
elaborate.
They fucking recorded Conquest on like 14 dubs.
Right.
Right. I can't. There's too
Like,
much.
there were
fog
certain
coming
scenes that were so hazy looking that I was like, is this a stylistic choice or is this like a dream sequence?
out. It would have looked better.
What I liked
Why
about it-
couldn't you found a better copy, Dave?
This is the only quality that exists.
What I liked about it, about the way I was seeing, I mean, I could see it fine. I watched it on my computer, so maybe it looked better on a smaller screen. I don't know, but I did like the blue hues and shit. I like that. Right, that's pretty much what I was seeing. Like, most of the movie kind of looks like that through it, but yeah.
You could tell it was a good looking movie. It's just the
It's not
picture
a
quality.
bad-
it's
Well, one of my notes is
if the transfer is better.
one of my
it would
notes
come
is
across.
this movie would probably be a lot more appealing if it had a great transfer, because you can tell from the cinematography points that it's probably pretty good. Right, there's some good hues in there. There's some good shots of the water and just good panning shots, and there's some goodness that's going on there. But you're right, the PQ is shit. But
Well, I like any movie that opens up with a fucking torso sitting on the
yeah,
fucking.
and I felt like I've seen this before, and I'm like, what movie is this from? And then I felt myself throughout the whole movie going, where the fuck is this from? Where is this from? And I'm like it
Maybe
was.
you saw the brutal insanity of love.
Maybe you watched part 2 and then you realize this is more torsos on rocks.
I don't know, man. I'm still baffled by it. I still feel like I've seen this movie before, but I've never seen this movie, if you know what I'm saying.
There's
Right?
a lot of
You know what I am
similarities. Like, it
saying?
feels like I have seen this.
Yeah.
One cool aspect was the fencing stuff. Stuff, and then at the very end, there's a good reveal. He says, "Well, I left myself open because I kind of wanted to pay for what I've done, like the guilt that he had.
Right.
That was a nice touch.
They bring up
Yeah,
that.
it's not a bad movie, but like,
Wait,
but like
what?
Moodz says it.
Yeah,
he
they,
wanted to leave himself open.
Well, she makes a comment about how he defends himself in fencing, or something about how he always does he doesn't have an offense, he only has a defense, or vice versa.
yeah, but he stopped the defense.
Yeah, but she brings it up at the very end. She says, "You let me win." He's like, "Well, that's why I always approached my fencing like that on purpose, because I felt like I should be punished for what I've done."
Punished by losing a fencing match?
By being killed at the fucking end of the movie.
Oh,
Spoiler. Thank you.
well, they use the metaphor through the whole movie, and then they just spiel it out at the end, kind of thing, right? They talk about the defense and hitting up top and low, and defense and offense.
Fencing looks fucking boring as shit.
Yeah, because it's like isn't it? Aren't you supposed to get I don't know the rules, but it's something to do with like. It's all about defense. You're not supposed to hit first. You're not, and that plays into the whole metaphor that they're using.
I'm a counter striker.
Yeah, it's like a counter striker. Yeah, like too. That's how you win.
Don't pull that shit on me.
Yeah, that's how you win. That's how you win fence. Apparently, you're not supposed to go for the gold right away. It's not like you're going for a knockout punch. It's like, but yeah, they use that metaphor through the film, and like I was getting that, even though I don't understand the rules of fencing, just like I don't understand cricket for the life of me, but.
You'll never need to.
But anyways, but you know what I'm talking about with the end of this thing when it goes back and forth with the reveal? It's like, I did this. No, she did this. It was this and that. I was like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Like, it could be different. It could have been fucking this way. It could have been that way. But like, they just keep going back and forth. And I'm like, oh my God.
There's the two outcomes. And like, you're like, well, either the wife's alive or the wife's dead. Right. And then you find the body and you're like, well, that's so-and-so or that's so-and-so. But there is that one really crazy murder scene when the I don't want to spoil who goes into the house to investigate, and it has that crazy like white and all that. It's just like that stuff is insane. That stuff is like from a giallo. That's great. That's a great kill. I've seen worse kills in giallos.
That's the best. That's the best scene in the entire movie. Because the way it's shot from the ground up, you know what I'm saying? Like it shows the character being so much bigger than they are, and it's just in the lighting's all blue and shit. It's a good shot. It's a really good shot.
What's up with the end of the film with all the fans and the fucking freezer and stuff?
Is
this their basement?
Right.
That's their kill room.
Yeah, it's the kill room, man. I mean, the title gives it away. The brutal insanity of love. Right.
Yeah.
Like possessive qualities.
The title is just like, whoa! It plays right into the reveal. Like it's just holy shit, dude. There's no beating around the bush on this.
I did dig the lesbian bar stuff and the tracking through the lesbian bar, and the cop has to dance with somebody she doesn't want to.
Right.
That whole scene's cool, but it's fairly obvious because they never show the face. Exactly that. You're like, is that the wife? It's like I've never seen the wife before, so it doesn't fucking matter if you show the face. Well, it must be. Sorry, spoiler. We're probably. It's got to be the husband.
Nobody's watching Evil Dead Trap 3, bro.
It's going to be the husband.
I only have one copy that looks like
well, obviously, I mean, the only question you have in this film is if the wife is real or not, or if she's alive or dead, right?
Yeah.
And you know in that lesbian bar scene, you're like, okay, well, it's like you just said, it's one of two things. Right, so
dude,
and it's got to be the guy because they would just show her because there's no reason because you haven't seen her yet.
Right.
So they're hiding it for a reason.
I had a hard time believing.
I
just had a hard time believing that he was pulling off the woman look in the lesbian bar because he was obviously picking up the victims as a female in the lesbian bar. That's the whole point of it. And I'm just like looking at him going.
But his wife was jealous, right?
His wife was him as a lesbian. Out of
jealousy, so he had to dress up as a female to pick up people to have sex with them, and his wife would kill them out of jealousy. I don't fucking know what their MO was,
dude.
I don't fucking get it,
dude. Yeah, but then you get the sense that she only killed the one, and then
she killed the two. Well, killed one, and the other killed themselves, and then he killed the detective, the private eye who came in. Like I don't know what the fuck his MO was. He was a weird dude.
Yeah, obviously. He's the one that kills the detective.
And then
in the hallway,
there's a whole MO about like. Fucking to feed the gods or some shit.
No, but I mean, like, what's he gonna do if one of these lesbians goes back with him and he's like, hey, I'm not actually a chick, I'm a dude, and they're like, well, I came to a lesbian bar, I'm interested in a chick, not some fucking professor who's gonna take me back to his wife. Is his wife fucking him? What's going on?
It has something to do with like they play into the whole God thing, and like they were sacrificing these women to do with sins, right? They were doing sacrifices to give back to the gods to basically It had to do to
I don't
cleanse.
remember this.
It had to do with cleansing their sins and shit like
Wait,
that.
you don't remember this, Dave?
Yeah, it was.
That?
They were sacrificed. Yeah, they play into it, man.
Don't you know lesbians have to cleanse their
They
sins?
talk about the
'Cause they're
seagulls, how they were
lesbians?
protecting the gods and stuff like that, and they were talking about how the gods were these sacrifices were made to cleanse your sins and shit like that, and that's why the
We
sacrifices
just said
were being
lesbian and seagulls, and nobody brought up the song "Lesbian Seagulls." Isn't that in Beavis and Butthead?
made. Right, that's really funny. But yeah, so like the end result of this is cleansing the sins by sacrificing to the gods and stuff. That's what they believed. I don't really think it had anything to do personally with sex. Like he wasn't bringing it back for his wife to have sex, and the whole jealousy thing. I think that's how the whole thing started, is because he fucked up as a husband and he cheated on his wife, obviously with one of his students and stuff like that. She got all jealous. She became a recluse.
He did it twice.
Yeah, he did it twice and stuff like that.
He
But
got
then,
her pregnant.
but his way of cleansing his sins was simply to do sacrificial, because that's what people believed that these gods could do. Hence the seagulls
But he was
protecting
doing
the
it for
gods.
his wife.
Yeah, but
his wife wanted to do it, not him.
She jumped off the fucking roof.
Right.
Yeah, but you find the second body, and that's got to be the friend. That's why
That
the
was the
detective
first
was
girl.
interested.
One
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
missing
Yeah.
because they show
Correct.
a flashback of her picture.
The
Right.
private eye's pretty funny. I think he's pretty funny.
Dude,
when he
I
picks
love the
him up.
fact that he's always eating, and then when she comes over, she's like, "Why are you always
She's
eating?" He looks at her and he goes, "Why are you such a bitch?" And he throws the fucking food on the ground and he runs off, and then she picks
She
it
calls
up.
him a fat slob at
She
one
picks
point.
it up, though. I thought it was so
I will
funny
say-
when she picks it
I will
up.
say a scene that was like kind of shitty done a little bit was where the girl was in the car with the axe or whatever the fuck with the windows.
Right.
Because like every time they would break a window, which they fucking broke every window in the car, it would break and then it would cut to her and there would be a delay and then she would scream every time.
Yeah.
It was like badly edited.
It was a poor scene too, because the side windows don't break like that. It was annoying the shit out of me.
I don't remember this
Like what?
movie as much.
Well,
as I thought
they weren't fully shattering, right? They were just kind of breaking through, so you can tell it wasn't like real glass. Because
I don't
That
remember
kind of
that.
shit, you pick up on that kind of shit like I do, and
yeah, well, I recently.
random shit.
Well, honestly, recently, man, I was actually, I don't know if I told you this, guys, but I was waiting to turn and I was on this highway kind of thing, and I'm sitting there in my truck and all of a sudden, smash, my fucking driver's side window got smashed out, a rock got spit at me.
Don't you hate that,
And
dude?
it
That happened to me.
But it literally just covered me in
times,
fucking
so-
glass, and that's how side windows break. When you break them, they don't just break through; they fucking shatter into a million pieces, right? And these ones in that film were just kind of
that's
breaking.
that tempered I forget what they call it, but again though it also matters the years, because in vehicles they've used different glass throughout.
You're right.
different
You're right. It
years.
could have been more of like a plexiglass in those cheap ass cars.
Also-
Who knows?
Also, in different countries, who the fuck knows? You know what I mean?
Right.
It was actually the seagulls that broke that glass.
Yeah, they were sacrificing the glass to the gods.
gods.
They were sacrificing the glass to the gods, man.
Dave
Well,
said
but-
he didn't remember this movie as much as he thought.
I didn't. Like, I remember, like, the guy. I remember the fencing. I remember his MO. I remember them driving back and forth between fucking towns all the time and them trying to figure out who was the fucking person in the dress, even though I knew it was the person in the dress right away.
Yeah.
But I don't remember a lot of the sacrificial stuff. I remember the wife being batshit crazy.
It's in that
I guess
scene.
that's all I just took from it.
It's in that scene too, because they allude to the whole gods and the seagulls, like, oh, this place is known for the seagulls. And actually, when the young detective is taking that
goes
car
to
ride, the taxi driver, whatever the Uber taxi driver, he's explaining to her that this place is famous for the seagulls because they protect the gods.
I
and stuff.
remember
So
that.
so they give you all that information, and then it's revealed in the end scene with, you know, the husband and the wife and her and stuff like that, and they talk about how everything kind of played itself out, like, you know, with his relationship and cheating, blah blah blah, and then this was like
Yeah.
cleansing the souls.
I
and-
caught all that. I just
Yeah.
don't remember.
Also, like,
the
why
end
are
with
they
her
keeping
motive.
that body around in like a bed?
I don't know.
Dude, I was good question, because I actually have this written down. I'm like, why is the body just all dried out
It's all
in the bed?
fucking brown and shit.
No, because there was
Looks
other
like
bodies,
Vegas.
but they got rid of
There were
most of the
bodies
bodies.
in the freezer, and
Yeah.
then there's one that they laid out on the bed.
But there's also
have you
bodies
ever
that
tried
are.
to fuck a frozen body, JP?
But
Yes.
they even talk about how, you know, he was the one that was throwing the shit off the fucking cliffs, and there was torsos and body parts over here. They got some in the freezer. They got dried up bodies in the bed. I'm like, what the
They
fuck?
definitely were freezing bodies and then on thawing them and throwing them later so they could fuck up the time frame.
Oh, for sure. Okay, that makes sense. But what's with the body in the bed though?
I can't.
Is it because
answer
maybe
every
it's the
question.
first? Maybe it's the first death? Because it was
It's
the girl
special one.
It was
They
the
felt
one.
bad for it.
It was the one from 5 years. It was that girl.
Maybe they put her out there so her friend
What do you
would
mean
see her and be like, "Oh shit,
She has a name.
I can't remember
oh,
what her
well,
name
I don't
is.
remember anybody's name."
Yeah,
I don't.
Mr.
Not only do I not remember everybody's name, I don't fucking know who people are.
I don't even know who you are, man. I don't know who you are. I don't know who the guy with the deep voice is, and I don't know who the Jew is. I don't know who you are.
You know who I do
I
like?
have such a hard time with Asian movies where everybody has the same hair color and fucking the transfer sucks and I can't remember any names because
It's like watching old black and white war movies where everybody has a helmet on.
Well,
and
funny
it's
enough,
everybody has the same fucking mustache and you're like, fuck.
funny enough, in this movie, you know, the same director as the first movie, right? And the wife's name is actually Nami, who is the lead character in the first one. Her name is Nami also. Just a weird kind of. I don't know if that's coincidental or
and the lead actor in part 2 is the lead actor in this one.
Yep. Totally bizarre.
Yep, that's why.
And the husband, Shiro Sano, or however you pronounce his name, that guy is like in a million movies, man. Like I recognize that guy from places. He just has one of those faces. Actually, I'm gonna click on to see how many credits does this guy fucking have. I've seen him pop up and shit. Let me see.
The only similarity
259 credits. Holy fuck! I told
as much
you.
as Ron Jeremy.
That's like cool, dude.
Yeah, part 2 and 3 both have the.
He's in a bunch of Godzilla movies.
Torso murders, and they've all 3 of the movies involve pregnancies and babies and shit. That's about it.
Right. Yeah. This is definitely the most like straight up stylized Italian giallo that you could. It's pretty much a giallo done in '93, is what it is, without
If
question.
the quality was better, I think this would be a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I think. I mean, the whole end shit needed to be like a little sorted out. But I think. I mean, I didn't hate watching this movie.
I just don't like the way.
It.
I thought the ending was self-explanatory. I just didn't like the way they revealed it because he kept like denying. He was like, "No, I did this. No, she did this," and blah blah. And I was like, "Shut the fuck up, seriously,
I think that
dude."
The motives are a bit weird for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Moodz.
I mean, the thing is, though, this is also a cultural thing too. Like certain cultures with the gods and all. Like, I mean, honestly, dude, like you don't really have too many people in the Western world here sacrificing people to the gods, and it happens in different.
I don't
cultures.
think it happens much in Japan either.
Yeah, I don't.
It doesn't. It does in this fictitious
What is
world,
the,
man.
Primary religion in Japan, like the.
Is
like
it
I know there's a lot
Shintoism?
of
There's
a lot of Christianity and
Is it
Buddhism.
Shinto
Yeah, there's
or
Shinto.
Confucianism? Confucianism. What is that one?
Is there not like a bunch of Christianity there now too? Like it's all
There's
different?
Christianity, but there's
There
also
was.
Confucianism and Shinto, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really pay attention. I don't really pay too much attention.
Shinto and Buddhism are the two.
well,
major
Buddhism is the
religions.
What
first thing
about
that comes to mind.
Confucianism? Is that a religion or just a way to live? I don't fucking.
It's like a denomination.
Dude,
no,
I'm like
it's
the
a
worst person to
denomination.
ask
It's a
about
denomination of a
anything
certain
religion.
religion, isn't it? Isn't that what it is? I don't know. You know how Christianity has like 30 different types of sub names and religions, and then there's certain churches that you can't go to if you're a certain type of Christian, you can't go to certain churches and stuff. That's
I'll help 'em out.
that's
I
why
won't
there's
go to any.
non-denominational churches where
Win-win.
they allow in everybody. You don't even have to be Christian in non-denominational churches. Like you could be Jeremy, you could be a Jew. So
Well, some Catholic
who was
churches will
telling
let
me-
you in on Sunday. They don't really give a shit.
yeah, but there's
Who was
certain
telling
places
me
you just
that-
can't go
that-
to. Yeah.
That I think someone was telling me that basically KFC essentially like tricked
This sounds
people
off topic.
it's sort of related that KFC tricked people to think that you ate KFC on Christmas in Japan, so everybody eats KFC.
fuck
on
off.
Christmas.
I swear,
to
the busiest day, the busiest restaurant in Japan on Christmas is KFC.
It's actually
And
true.
it takes months in advance. You have to place an order months in advance.
Right, because
It's actually true.
in the 90s
That
they
is true.
did a commercial with like a bunch of Americans eating KFC with like Christmas hats on and shit.
That's so stupid.
So they thought that
capitalism.
like, oh, this is what Americans do on Christmas.
That's so dumb. That is so dumb. But no, it is true. It is a
true.
thing. It is a
Yeah.
thing with KFC in Japan. It's
Is
interesting.
that not what you guys do?
No, we eat Chinese food.
Jews eat
Yeah,
Chinese
he's
food, man.
Jewish.
Disgusting.
But you guys have anything else on the film? I don't think there's really anything else
No,
to say,
I'm
is
good.
there?
No, I'm good.
Like, I think we're kind of okay. Jeremy, what do you got on this one?
Same as all the other ones, 6.5.
Really?
Yep, across the board.
Yeah, I'm actually at the same rating, 6.5 out of 10 on this one. I did, I enjoy the giallo elements of this, but honestly, this movie was kind of boring. Like I was kind of bored in this shit, and maybe it's because the whole time I just was trying to pinch myself. I'm like, am I dreaming? Like, I've seen this shit before. It was weird. I don't know. I would like to see this movie on a better transfer, to be honest. I don't know if it's going to...
better transfer would probably help.
Yeah, because I'd like to see that cinematography in nice, glorious 1080p. But yeah, 6.5 out of 10 for me, man. It's a decent movie. It's just not that entertaining. Honestly, kind of boring. And I hate using the word boring, but I do now for this one.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was interesting, and the fact that it was like very giallo influenced, like, basically made me more interested, because I was like, oh, I don't think I've ever seen a Japanese giallo before. So that was cool. But I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right. So this is my least favorite of the three. It comes in at a 10 out of 10. No, really, it's a 6.5. I like it. It's entertaining to a certain extent, but it also is just a little lackluster. I mean, after watching the first two, where you're like, these are really different, really weird, really kind of thought-provoking or violent or something, this one was like kind of standard, like really standard. It had a couple moments that were amazing, and the location was great, but it was very police procedural.
I feel like if I had have went through and watched this movie, I watched the first two on Friday night.
I felt like that. Yeah, sorry.
And I just feel like if the second one had to made me, you know, if it hadn't have broke my brain and got me thinking about it so long, I probably would have just popped this one in and watched it. But I think I would have it probably would have been even a lower scoring for myself. You know, I'm glad that I sat on a little bit, but yeah.
The scene where she's like following the car, I felt like that went on forever.
It did. This movie is really long. Like, actually, all three of these movies are like 100 to 102 minutes. Like,
they're all like,
they're all pretty long movies. I think all of them definitely run too long for sure. Definitely a complaint. But this one feels really long, because I just feel like it's just not that exciting.
Mermaid Legend is the movie he directed that has the good reputation. So if anybody wants to check it out, from 1984.
Right.
Well, I'm sure when we pull 84, we'll check it out.
Yeah, I'll watch it right away. It'll be one of the first 10 I watch, probably.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, that's going to conclude the Evil Dead Trap trilogy. Thank you, Zaza, for the Patreon pick. We really enjoyed it. Nothing wrong with this at all. So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Good conversations.
More Asian flicks, please.
I will say, man, I will say
category 3, volume 2.
Yeah, this went on a lot longer than I actually thought it was for the reviews, so that's always a plus. So, but I got nothing else. Should we just get out of here? We got a football game to watch, so
yeah, let's go.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 215 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. If you want to follow the man Moodz himself, you can do so at youtube.com/Moodz616. If you want to follow the mathematician JP, you can do so at youtube.com/double.
Math.
Oh my God, that's actually really funny. That's really funny.
He got your ass.
There's Jeremy's one good joke for the year.
That was good.
Starting off early this year, huh, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Mathematician. I like
17 days into the year. If you want to follow me on my channel, youtube.com/NESRules22, and you can follow the old man, cranky ass Dave, youtube.com/Mr. Parker. So always leave us a voicemail at 724-426-6665. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com, search bar 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. But unfortunately, that page is now dead too. And please follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/22 Shots podcast. And please support the Patreon to get the sand sucked out of my vagina, patreon.com/22 Shots podcast. All right, everybody, that should be it for this week's episode of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. We'll be back next week with, I don't know, we haven't decided.
Are we doing a show next week?
I don't know.
I have no idea what's happening.
Don't know. What do we still have in store?
We could do Peter Jackson.
Oh, that's right.
Is that 2 or 3 movies?
2.
I can record next week.
Okay, we'll do Peter Jackson.
Well, I don't know if I want to. What else is on there?
The Scream Factory show. I think that's it, right?
Universal.
No, what about that
Jackson.
Extreme show?
Oh, an Extreme.
That's only 2 movies. That's easy.
What is that?
Serbian film
and I can't remember.
Yeah, what's the other one?
Singapore Sling.
Oh, Singapore Sling. Oh, wow.
I've never seen Singapore Sling.
Sure.
I missed that.
We'll do that one.
I missed that DVD from Synapse. I think it's out of print now. Fuck.
There's a Blu-ray, Moodz.
Dude, I'm dreading that show because I have no fucking clue what to do with the thumbnail.
Just fucking put a baby on it and call it a day.
Oh, you could probably just grab some clips from Serbian film and just throw them on there.
Just have that director screaming. I want JP to watch that movie too.
The headless doggy style scene. Oh.
All right, we'll figure out what we're gonna do.
All right, guys, we're out of here. Deuces.
Peace out.